Alright, welcome back everybody to the TwoPools Deciders, probably the most anticipated set of the day. Swords versus Gamer Legion be a rematch of their previous rounds, or previous group stage round. DauT+Slam versus Vinchester+ClassicPro. In that set, Vinchester+ClassicPro won by a narrow margin, and Vinchester+ClassicPro almost won the winner's game as well. They were 2-2 against Mr. Johan Lix, and they were close to winning against Johan Lix and winning the group. Now the question is, can they redeem themselves in the decider game and end up second place in their group? Or DauT+Slam will prevail? Obviously, only one of these teams will get into the quarterfinals, so the stakes are as high as possible. But before we dig ourselves very deep into the draft, with Dave, let's take a look at the introduction of these teams.
In spring 2019, Jordan had returned after a long break and was signed up as the third member of Team Secret for Doubles Age, teaming with the Viper and Tattoo. Left out, DauT and Slam decided to join forces, and as Secret Team won the tournament. A surprisingly successful duo, they participated in the first two pools as well, where they reached the semi-finals. Considering their respective qualities, it should perhaps not have been unexpected, as they are both active, talented, and experienced players. While they had not played together since 2016, they immediately found their marks. DauT was leading with archers and Slam supporting with cavalry. They've both evolved since, however, and it would not be surprising to see them switch roles this time. 2 years ago, Slam and DauT narrowly beat Vietnam Legends before losing to MBL, Hera, and Nico. They're both in good tournament shape, but considering the level of competition, that alone will not be sufficient to reach the final stages. They will need to prepare well and work on their coordination to be able to challenge the top teams. The Russian and Ukrainian SALS team has a roster of 3 of the most improved players of the past year: Vinchester, Dark, and ClassicPro. While Vinchester has been one of the best in the world for a long time, his teammates have stepped up in recent months, making SALS a force to be reckoned with. The team had to go through the qualifiers and face the British duo of Hallis and Bling, a set they won convincingly. SALS is a team whose dynamic relies on Vinchester. As the captain and best player on the roster, he has to be the driving force behind the trio. He also brings creative strategical thinking and his superb micro game to the table. If Dark and ClassicPro can support him well, the team becomes deadly. SALS will be playing in Group D, where there could be a Black Horse team. They're smart and skilled players, and the unusual drafting rules of TwoPools could play to their strengths.
So, with that, let's join up with the one and only and irreplaceable GeoGuessr master, the master of the controller gameplay, the speedrun god, Dave. Let's take a look at what he has on his mind about these drafts.
Hello, brother.
Hello there.
How's my volume? Am I good? Am I good, Lita? Am I good, chat? Closer, farther?
Yeah, you're all good, I believe.
All right. So what's cooking here? What do we got? We got a set between Vinch and ClassicPro versus DauT+Slam. Is this like a decider set for the group? Is this deciding who's gonna go through? Line it up for me, Lita. Line it up, man. Come on.
It is indeed the decider, so you already lined it up perfectly. They played in the first round, and Swords won by a very narrow margin, 3-2. And then Swords went into the winner's game and almost won against Johan Lix. But then they fell short, and now they're back here against DauT+Slam. Winner gets into the quarterfinals, and the loser goes home.
Okay, so it's a must-win for both teams going through. I'm not gonna lie to you, Lita. I'm not familiar with the settings, and this is not a new thing for me. So we're gonna have to go over that a little bit. But I have been watching some of the games, especially that last set. Pretty surprising result, to be honest, from Say My Name and other can't remember.
ACCM.
ACCM, that's the one. How could I ever forget him? Yellow and ACCM taking it there. That was pretty freaking hype. Not gonna lie, over Nilly and Jordan.
So just to line it up for you then, it is a 2v2 setting with an interesting civ drafting format. You pick a bunch of civs for yourself, that's your pool 1, and then you pick a bunch of civ for the opponent, that's your pool 2. So you're trying to pick bad civs for the opponent here. And then you pick one civ from each pool, so you have to pick one good civ and one bad civ, basically. That's the concept of TwoPools.
Yellow been watching on T90 stream? No, been watching him for 5 years, Yoda. Thank you for the comment, though. His name used to be Yellow. I think, Lita, I think he changed his name to Say My Name because he changed his name from Yellow and everyone still kept calling him Yellow. And it was confusing with the color. So I think he changed it to Say My Name in anger. And then I think he just stuck with that. Just a little aside into the history of his name.
Indeed. I'm already expecting a lot of people to be spamming Dave when you say my name. But luckily for you, we're having a set between Vinchester+ClassicPro and DauT+Slam here and not Say My Name. Otherwise, I would have done these jokes a lot myself. Alright, so I got Team Islands and Coast to Mountain for Souls, Regicide Fortress for Team Acropolis for GL. And I think we're good to jump into the first game, if you're okay with that.
Yep, let's get it going.
Alright. So, I'm gonna pause at like 10-15 seconds in the first game, and then we can actually get going with the first game of the set. What are your predictions, by the way, for this one?
Well, I saw previously, I looked on Wikipedia, and I guess the Sal's boys took the first set against DauT+Slam, 3-2.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, you know, if DauT+Slam in typical fashion will go back and probably analyze that set, especially DauT, and talk about it with like Viper or Tato or any of their GL team members and come back with a different strategy. So I think they're going to win it 3-2, but it's definitely going to be tough, especially with how good Vinchester's been and how much of an improvement we've seen from ClassicPro. Like, he's been insane this year.
Absolutely. I'm paused at 23 seconds, so...
23 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
I am there right now.
Alright, cool. Let's do a countdown then with 3, 2, 1, and go. So, welcome to Arabia. I guess we'll have swords with Vikings and Vietnamese, a thing to talk a lot about, I believe, on the right side in warm colors, whereas DauT+Slam is playing the more standard blue and green with Britons and Slavs. I'm gonna throw it right at you with Vietnamese and Vikings. What are your thoughts about that?
I think they just like the letter V. It's not often that you see this this Civ combo, but you get that a lot, I guess, in TwoPools with these settings. I mean, an Archer Civ and an Archer Civ, it's gonna be tough for them to mix it up. And I'm looking at, you know, Slam and DauT, and they can go for a more standard kind of strategy here, Lita, with Knights in the Castle Age, and then from Slam, and then Archers from DauT. Whereas the other team, ClassicPro and Vinchester, are going to have to try and figure something out for that mid game.
Yeah, it's tricky. Like, Vietnamese can work as a cavalry civ, especially in Castle Age. They have fully upgraded knights in Castle, but they're missing Blast Furnace and Paladin and Imp, so this could be a cavalry play from the Vietnamese player, but he has to be very aggressive in that case.
Yeah, and it's not, the cavalry from him isn't very scalable either. So it's like I said, it's going to be tough. They're going to have to put some, I feel like, pressure on either DauT or Slam and force the fights in one area, because as soon as Slam starts using the mobility of that cavalry, they're going to run into problems. They're going to be chasing him the entire time. But maybe, like you said, maybe the Vietnamese player just goes for Knights of his own and doesn't care about Civ bonuses or anything along that line.
Yeah, but I feel like if it's just Vietnamese Knights, I like DauT+Slam civs a lot more, but it's Swords, and I think Swords is probably the second most innovative team in Age of Empires right now, maybe third. Like, there is GL, there is Suomi, but then there is Swords with Vinch and ClassicPro. They're just coming up with crazy strategies from time to time.
Looking at the maps here, it looks pretty nice for Vinchester over there and decent for Slam, although he has that forward gold area, which could be pressured. For DauT, kind of forward berries, which could be annoying. And then for Classic Pro, I mean, Classic Pro's got a pretty decent map here. He's got the gold in the back, the berries in the back, some wood lines to take, and the stone fairly safe off to the side there as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we got 4 on wood for Classic Pro, so cancel my thoughts about the scouts from him. And 4 on wood as well for Vinch. So this might end up being a double archer play after all.
Mm-hmm. And with Vikings, you have to feel like you're going to be playing a little bit defensive. I can't wait to Castle Age to see what the Russian team goes for. Or Russian and Ukrainian, I guess, since Is Classic Pro Ukrainian?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
But don't worry, I was casting their previous set with Ornlu, and also Ornlu was like, oh yeah, the Russian team, and I was like, but Classic Pro is Ukrainian, and Ornlu is like, well, that's technically Russia soon.
Classic Pro's Ukrainian, Vinchester's Viking, or Russian, and Slam's playing as the Slavs. I see. We got it all here, dude. We got it all.
Alright, this is not the first time Vinchester has been pinging the town center of DauT here to his teammates, so probably just to make sure that Classic Pro doesn't run into the TC fire. And we will have... Hold on, that's double 20 pop feudals for the Russian team. They have something very, very cheesy on their minds right now.
Double 20 pop feudal, 4 on wood for both. I'm very curious here. What?
Like, the thing is that Vietnamese or Vikings don't receive any Dark Age eco bonuses, so it's not like they would just go for a fast Archers play, or at least that's not going to be easy for them. Classic Pro wants to go for the Archers, apparently. It's a very, very tight Archers build in this case. And Vinch... It looks like they will play Scouts Archers, but it definitely is an awkward start for both players.
Okay, so Classic Pro is sending to gold. We can kind of predict that based on his Civ and how many he sent to wood earlier, but Vinchester has not gone out to gold yet. The barracks is just now going up for him. And this is... Lita, I'm kind of confused here. I'm a little bit confused here about the early uptimes and their civs and their builds, and yeah, it seems a bit strange. Both players deciding to wall heavily at the front too.
Yeah, indeed. So Classic Pro will be playing Archers, but man, 20 pop Archers, even with Vikings, is quite tight overall. And I'm
Vinchester's going stable, dude. He's going stable with Vikings. And I wonder if Slam is going to see this. That's a lot of information. If Slam comes over here and he sees the stable, that's a huge deal.
That is a huge deal. I think Vinch is the Vietnamese player, though, so...
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I confused the two at one time as well, but I think in this case it's just a fairly standard play from Vinch. What is more interesting, I believe, is the Classic Pro super fast Archers. And it seems to work fairly decently. He's able to squeeze in Bitaxe and quite a bit of walling as well.
Yeah, he's just gonna have that one range though, and he's gonna invest a lot of wood into walling. If you're only going one range like this, you kind of gotta get the walls up early. And he's got that whole open left side or to wall, and then the whole open right side. Unless he wants to do the, you know, the donut wall or whatever. It's gonna be tough to get the walls down and keep production going.
Yeah, especially when Slam loses a villager to the 2 scouts that are coming in. And that is a nice yoink from Vinchester to start the day with.
Yeah, it's a good pickoff. He's going to go back to the hill, and Slam still can't engage against that. He's sending another villager out, but now there's 3 scouts here, and only 2 scouts of his own. He'll lose another one, and he might lose a second vill here.
Indeed. And that is definitely not a great start for him. He's got the power of Slavic farming, which helps a tiny bit, but still being down 2 villagers, and more importantly, being your base open like this is the problem.
Yeah, you could see sending that second villager out how much he wanted to get that walled. He wants to secure that forward gold. That's a really risky position for him. And he's going to have to overinvest in military just to push Vinchester back and just to get those walls up in front there.
Yeah, and I think he's actually lucky that Classic Pro is just sending out the archers, because I don't think that Classic Pro really used that fast feudal to his advantage here with archers, because he could already be at the base of Slam with like 2 or 3 archers to pick off spears.
I mean, maybe he was thinking get up to feudal age faster and get my cheap eco bonuses in a little bit faster, or get wheelbarrow a little bit faster. It might, I don't know. It's a bit weird from him to go up that early.
I mean, it does make sense that wheelbarrow bonus is massive, plus you can grab double bit axe faster as well. Obviously, it's a tight build, and it also makes your opponent think very heavily, because they also see that you're up very fast.
Okay, so Vinchester running away from Slam now. Slam is on the hunt with a spearman behind, so you kind of got to outrun that spearman before you can fully engage here. And he's hoping for the archers from Classic Pro to loop around to the side, and I think they might end up trapping Slam here before DauT arrives.
Yeah, DauT is coming in here with a couple of archers. He doesn't have Fletcher, neither does Classic Pro, but Classic Pro at least has it queued up.
Okay, so Slam did a good job kind of looping around there to meet up with his allies. Still superior numbers here, though, for Classic Pro and Vinchester. And they're just kind of looking for a good position, looking to put a little bit of pressure on the GL team. And they can camp this hill all day, I think.
Yeah, they can. Although DauT and Slam, I think, are happy that they're just camping this hill right now, because Slam doesn't really want that pressure in his face.
Yeah, he wants to get that wall completed, which he has done, by the way. And he's only open on the north side. Both teams kind of dancing in the middle there. DauT is fully walled. Classic Pro is fully walled. And Vinchester has huge walls down. He's actually going for the double layer walls.
Indeed. Early bloodlines coming in here for Slam so he can take this fight. But he might be forced to chase here, as those scouts could get through those walls.
Yeah, even if he does get through those walls, not sure how much pressure they can put on. They can deny that extra food from the berries, though, and that one farm at the moment. I think, however, the best result for them is just to waste time from the GL team, because they can't take this fight straight up.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice market wall there from Slam to prevent that army from escaping, and this is the moment where Classic Pro is going to lose his archers. But in exchange, Vinch is gonna be the first one to Castle Age.
Still a decent trade, though, I think, for Vinch and Classic Pro.
Indeed, it is. And DauT now getting close to click up to Castle Age, so is Slam. And I think I'm somewhat surprised how low Classic Pro's eco is, because he's got Vikings, and I would have expected him to be able to click up to Castle Age comparable to DauT.
Yeah, but if you think about it, like, he's going... I don't know, he had the early uptime into immediate double range archer ranges with huge walls. DauT's build seemed kind of more manageable than Classic Pro's. It seemed a little bit greedy on his end. So even though he does have Vikings, I'm not surprised that DauT is clicking up faster.
Oh, the archers go from Classic Pro. Oh.
Yep. He sent the second group, and he's managed to pick off a villager and send those vills from Slam back to the TC once again. So much idle time from Slam this game.
Yeah, he's got 15 minutes of idle time. Everybody else is less than 7. And the real danger here is that he doesn't want to lose those archers, though, because he needs crossbow numbers in early castles. So it could backfire if he loses all those archers to, like, scouts and a couple of skirms, or just DauT's archers overall.
I think with the health of Slam scouts, you don't really have to be super worried about them. Just keep running away from the archer mass from DauT. And draw this army as far to the back of the map as possible if you're Classic Pro, because even if you lose them, DauT will take time to get to your economy with his main force. I think this is a mistake from him to sit on this hill. I think he should have just gone to the edge of the map or tried to loop around to the side of Slam's base, but he does end up losing that army, and now DauT is going to be in castle first and able to get the upgrades on that mass.
Yeah, and that's going to be a massive Castle Age difference. It is a 2 minutes lead, and that's going to cause a lot of problems for Classic Pro, who's going for range number 3. So this is indeed going to be basically an all-in Castle Age from Vinchester Classic Pro. They have to do it because their Imperial Age cavalry is just absolutely useless. Although it might be Vietnamese elephants at some point.
Well, we're seeing knights here coming across from Vinchester. If he can sneak some of those into Slam's base, he can be very, very annoying. But Slam wisely walling up. He knows the danger of a few knights early in Castle Age, maybe in a wood line. So Vinchester's going to hit that wall, bounce off, and run over towards DauT.
So 3 TCs for Vinch, second TC for DauT, same for Slam. But for now, the real question is how much damage DauT can do with those 8-range Briton crossbows.
Well, he's getting a university, man. He just put up the university. He's going for that second TC. So this is going to be a very dangerous army. Very, very dangerous army. And even though Classic Pro has the numbers and he's had good production, like you said, the range comes into play. And especially with a player like Classic Pro who's maybe considered not as fast as someone like Slam or Vinchester, it could be an issue.
It could be, and you already forced a defensive tower from Classic Pro, which is by itself a huge achievement. Still, crossbow will be coming in here for Classic Pro, so this is gonna be tricky for DauT, because he doesn't want to overcommit to this.
Oh, that hill in Classic Pro's base is so nice, and DauT can kind of dodge the arrows from that tower.
He's got ballistics.
On the hill.
Look at that. That's 6 archers picked off for no kills on Classic Pro. That ballistics comes in clutch here for DauT.
Yep. Yeah, and now the knights are here too. And the knights being there are a huge deal. Now it's going to be problems for Classic Pro. He's going to have to engage against the knights and tank hits from the crossbows from DauT. But DauT and Slam have actually decided that's not a great idea. Maybe they're worried about knights from Vinchester coming from behind. And indeed, they're coming back across the map now.
Yeah, this is still tricky because after all this fighting, Salt actually has the eco lead by 4, and they also have the Viking eco.
All the pressure, though. All the pressure from GL right now. Even though they're not actively hitting an economy, Sal's has to be very cognizant of where this big army is, and they can't really go and pressure the economy from DauT and Slam, which will give them time. I mean, DauT already has 3 TCs, Slam already has 3 TCs, and they're fully walled.
Yeah, this is tricky. One of the reasons why this GL team is so strong is because they're just big boomers. They play with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, who knows how many TCs, and they're just having a very good combination of applying pressure and booming behind that.
God, fighting Briton crossbows in Castle Age is a nightmare, and you can see it right here for Classic Pro. Like, DauT and Slam can always take a position 1 tile farther away, and Classic Pro and Vinchester are gonna have to force the issue to win the fights, and they're gonna have to sit here by their own economy, not doing any damage to GL until they win this.
Absolutely, and now Slam's team is taking over in terms of eco as well. It is 6 TCs combined for them, and the big deal is that Classic Pro is still only 1 TC.
Ooh, another group of crossbows going over during this huge fight where we see excellent micro from both teams. Another group of crossbows going over to Classic Pro's base, and his reinforcements are being cut off, and the Briton range with ballistics is just doing work, even though, you know, DauT's micro may be a little bit questionable, but...
Oh, this could be tricky because suddenly Slam's knights are disappearing, and so will DauT's crossbows.
Yep. Good clear up there from Vinchester. Excellent knight production, and they came at exactly the right time. And now I'm looking on the map here, Lita, and all I see is 2 knights from Slam.
Indeed.
That's it.
And the ecos are dead even, so it's not like Gia has a massive eco lead. And suddenly the mobility advantage is on the side of Vinch. Triple stable knights production. They gotta go for a very aggressive Castle Age here.
Yeah, it looks like DauT is going to double down on his production, adding 2 more archer ranges. So he knows the threat of those knights, and he knows that his ally really doesn't have that much in backup military. Slam actually added a 3rd stable as well. So he's going to go for extra production too.
Indeed, but this actually buys some time for Classic Pro to boom up. Goes for an early monastery to pick up a couple of relics. But I think the key thing now could be hitting Slam's eco, because DauT is so far away to help.
Well, Slam's got 3 TC and 3 stables. So I think it's going to be tough with the walling situation to actively hit his eco. What I really like from DauT right now is the fact he still has that group of crossbows at the back of Classic Pro's base to be very, very distracting. And now he's sending his main force over to help his buddy. I think Slam should maybe loop around, try and wall behind this push, and then loop around to the side and try and meet up with the crossbows from DauT.
This is the tricky part though for Classic Pro because he wants to keep those 22 crossbows alive. He's going for a super early imp here.
Oh boy, I don't know if it's going to be in time though. Because Slam's looping around right now. He's going to meet up with DauT. They're going to push this back, and by the time Salz realizes what's gone on, I think the crossbow numbers are going to be whittled down here. And excellent walls behind there from Slam.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff from him.
Yeah, I think Swords noticed just in time that they shouldn't overcommit because they felt like a trap is coming, and they can be lucky that they managed to slip away there. Because really the eco for Classic Pro isn't good enough to spam orbs in Imperial, so he needs every bit of crossbows that he can keep alive.
Yeah, that was really, really good stuff from Slam. The walls behind there with the houses. If those knights get into his base, suddenly there's an argument for Salz to just YOLO their army and completely nuke Slam's economy. But now they just have to kind of fall back, wait for the Imperial Ages to come in. And these are the types of games that GL likes. The types that, especially Slam and DauT, the types that go late game, where you both have good economies, and the strategy and the positioning and the teamwork is going to win out over superior micro or early Imperial push.
Yeah, like this is the final moment where Vinch and Classic Pro will have a shot because they're both imping. DauT is also going into Imperial, and now they have a big lead for GL. So I think Vinch and Classic Pro have to win this game when they both are in imp and Slam is not.
Okay, so we see even more stables coming down from Vinchester. So he's just going to double down on the cavalry. Now, Vietnamese cavalry, they get Cavalier, but I don't believe they get Blast Furnace.
They don't.
So that's kind of, I mean, maybe a little bit yikes, but potentially he could go into Elephants as well.
Yeah, he will have to. Like, luckily for him, he's up against Slabs, so Slabs won't have Paladin either. Obviously, lack of Blast Furnace will hurt. But this is the moment that they want to take this fight, and this could be a good fight with all those Arbs out there. And DauT could lose his crossbows before the imp.
I don't think, with the TC, the Knights from Slam, the production is closer from Slam as well. So he's going to have Knights continuing to come out of here. I think this is a good fight for GL.
Yeah, it pretty much seems like it indeed. And I feel like this is just a fight that Swords had to take, otherwise they would just let DauT go up to 55 orbs with Britain 10 range.
Well, they're gonna let him do it anyway. You know, he didn't really lose any crossbowmen there, and he's still got more production at his base. He's gonna start a push most likely against Classic Pro soon, and it looks like Classic Pro is interested in starting a push against DauT. He's sending villagers forward potentially for a castle. No, he's just taking that gold there. Okay.
Yeah, siege rams could be interesting against Britons here, especially because Slam is not in a position to help, but DauT is gonna have a defensive castle up, and the eco is getting better for DauT and Slam. No trade for either team just yet.
Okay, here, villagers for Vinchester coming forward, and there's the castle right at the front of DauT or Slam's base. I mean, you could have made an argument for that castle a little bit further back on that big hill. I think it potentially controls a little bit more, and this one forward is vulnerable, but I like the idea from Vinchester.
Yeah, now DauT is gonna have the range advantage, but Thumbring is on the side of Classic Pro, so it comes down to how well DauT is able to control those orbs, and DauT is very good at just controlling multiple groups of units, but still, it is Cavalier for Vinch, and he could do quite a lot of raiding damage on DauT. And oh boy, DauT's army on the right. That could be easily destroyed by the Cavalier and the orbs.
Oh yeah, that army's dead. For sure, it's just how much can he take with it. He does have a lot of production behind though, Lita. I mean, he's got, what, 6 archer ranges, constantly pumping out arbs, and a castle there now, so I think DauT can recoup his losses. Fair enough. And look at the push onto Vinchester's base. Vinchester's Cavalier are either forward at Slam's base or over helping his ally, and suddenly there's, you know, 30 Arbalests from DauT and like 17 Knights from Slam coming into this farming economy.
Yeah, and that is a great timing as well from Slam, because he's just about to get Cavalier and he just got +4 defense. But Slam's eco is also getting pushed really heavily here.
Yeah, Slam does have some in defense, but look at all the villagers dying! The villagers are dying like crazy at Vinchester's base. DauT still has some Arbalests there, and he's going to get that army wiped up. So good clear up over at Vinchester's economy.
This is looking great for Salts now. Because look at the army numbers for DauT and Slam. They're just disappearing.
Slam signaling that castle from Vinchester, and I think he's asking for Trebs from DauT. Slam probably needs a castle of his own to secure the front side.
Now this is tricky because Vietnamese don't have Blast Furnace, but it doesn't matter when Slam didn't even research Forging, so right now the Vietnamese Cavalier is better, and indeed DauT comes in with traps, as you said. Still, one of the gold mines for Slam is denied, and that means that their gold income will not be as great as they're setting up trade right now.
God, you can really see the difference here with Classic Pro's faster Imperial Age. It kind of nuked his economy. He's only at 83 villagers right now. He's trying to recoup losses here, but he's going to be behind Slam. He's going to be behind DauT. And Vinchester, credit to him, the mega boom. He just lost like probably 20 villagers to that raid. And he's still, I believe he's got the highest villager count in the game here. He's
Yes,
close
he does.
to it. Yeah, he does.
And he's also doing an excellent job raiding Slam, so Slam is down to 100 villagers, and that could be troublesome for DauT, because he would just get overrun by Cavalier if Slam is not able to support.
Okay, so big ball of military here with 3 Trebs behind from DauT. And yeah, that castle goes down. It was kind of inevitable. I mean, it was out in the middle of nowhere. And now we're going to see the big Arbalest battle between DauT and Classic Pro. I think Classic Pro has numbers advantage, but DauT with the range.
Yeah, but what if DauT is not microing and he's up against Stumbering?
He is on a hill, though, and I think a lot of Classic Pro's units weren't. I think the range just is huge.
Yeah.
I'd take the range over the Thumb Ring any day, I think.
It's interesting. I think here the range came in clutch because, as you said, some of the crossbows for Classic Pro were not on a hill, and DauT was. So DauT cleans this up really nicely.
Yeah, really, really nicely. What an excellent trade for him. And Slam clearing up the army at the back of his economy, but Vinchester putting a lot of pressure on him. Now, Slam is behind Classic Pro and villagers, and he's got to do something to lock down this area. I'd love to see a castle somewhere around there. Maybe a switch into Halberdier at some point. It's going to be tough for Slam.
Oh, DauT is sneaking stables on the far right side so that he can actually spam some Britain light cav into the eco. It actually slowly starts transitioning into like 2 separate 1v1s, like one on the left side and one on the right side, but military numbers way better for GL now, and they already have some trade rolling.
Yeah, forward castle coming out from DauT as well. So he's got outposts all along that right-hand side. He's going to distract the army from Classic Pro. Classic Pro needs to deal with that. And while he's dealing with it, a castle is going to go down from DauT. He's going to start the push there. That'll give him a good position to sit his Arbalests and bring up some Trebs behind.
Yeah, indeed. Now, this could be a big trap here. Vinchester could trap that army of Cavalier with the University.
Oh, no doubt. Running right into the archers from Classic Pro over at Vinchester's base. He loses so many, and Slam has Cavalier there, but good position for Classic Pro. So I think GL's going to take the L on this fight and have to retreat.
Yeah, and both Cavalry players now taking into light cav as they are running short on gold, but DauT pushing the right side with Trebs, and Vin or Classic Pro doesn't have anything to react to this one.
Both teams setting up trade as well. I think GL was a little bit faster, but credit to the Cells boys. They got a couple markets up each and have the trade rolling. What do you think about late game compositions for both of these civs? You have to favor Britons and Slavs,
yeah,
right?
By a massive margin. Cavalry is better for Slavs, and I mean, Britain Arbs is way better than Viking Arbs. One of the biggest things with Vikings is that they have a crazy eco, but really, their Arbs are just completely generic.
I I think Vikings against Britons one-on-one, you can make something happen with Siege Ram, you know, with skirmishers, whatnot, arbalests of your own. But once you get the Slavs versus the Vietnamese factor in, you really start running into problems because Vietnamese aren't giving the team a whole lot in this situation. As Vinchester loops around with the Cavalier to try and get the Trebs, but I think he's going to toss away quite a bit of army doing it.
Yeah, and the castle won't be saved anyways. Still, DauT could lose a lot of his arbs, and that could be something to like for Salts.
Slam still seems to be kind of recovering. He's finally getting some castles down forward to protect the forward side of his base. He does have some Cavalier at the moment, but I believe he might be thinking of a tech switch here.
Yeah, but tech switch into what? Because you need some mobility. Like if
Yeah, I think once you get the castles down, mobility isn't that much of an issue here. Because you do have Britons, right? So you can push in one big area. And if you get some siege maybe from the Slavs, you go and do, you know, some light cav spam, which I think he's already started. Could be able to hold a position and then harass the economy behind.
Yeah, I can see Hub and Siege working out on the far left as well, because, like, considering that Classic Pro is just on the far right, Hub and Siege could be troublesome for Vinch to defend against. Yeoman just now aim for DauT.
Okay, populations are kind of stable, and this game looks like we're moving towards a post-Imperial, full text, everything researched, 30 trait cards for every player kind of situation. Unless DauT can get some trebs forward and really push Classic Pro's base, I think both teams are going to start walling up their trade lines here and just securing their economies.
Yeah, I think especially for GL that makes a lot of sense because their late game comp is just much better. So really, once Slam gets Blast Furnace in for his Cavalier, he's still only at Forging. His Cavalier will be better than the opponent's Cavalier, and as I said, in late game when you have this big armies, the range for Britons is more important than Thumbring.
I do like how both Slam and DauT are kind of establishing positions along the side of the map and taking that area away from the Cells team early. You can see Slam over on the left-hand side with the barracks already. DauT over on the right-hand side pushing him with his army. He does have that castle behind, and he did make the stables early, so just kind of taking up real estate that Cells are going to have to fight to reclaim. And that'll take time, right? That'll give GL time to get their trade rolling, get their economy going.
Yeah, and I feel like Vinchester is doing a nice job raiding, but both Slam and DauT have so good ecos that it doesn't really matter. Like, losing 5-10 villagers might not matter as much as Trebs taking down half of your base.
I'm really questioning from Classic Pro, like, where are the siege rams here?
Oh, Warwolf Trebs. It's gotta be
Oh,
Warwolf
big
Trebs.
shots.
Like
Oh my goodness.
That's gotta be Warwolf.
Yep. And that's what makes Britain so deadly. It's the combination of the range on the Arbalists and the Werewolf Trebs demolishing all your range units. I'm just, like I said before, I'm so surprised we don't see Siege Ram from Classic Pro here. Like, you haven't really seen that much support from Slam. There's been a few waves of Cavalier, but it's mostly been DauT over here on the right-hand side. And Siege Ram would work wonders against this, even just soaking the fire.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Classic Pro is stacking into Elite Skirm, and indeed it starts to become two separate 1v1s with light cap spam. But as things stand, Gia has a slightly better gold income, and it shows in the Cavalier numbers right now. Paper
And the problem
money
is, like, the GL wins both 1v1s. So,
yeah, it is paper money coming in clutch here for some extra gold for Swords, but it's 125 army against 75, and Warwolf Trebs means that you can't even counter trap those.
And I think
Imperial
Slam...
Skirms.
Imperial Skirms are good, but I mean, I think Slam's gonna start teching into Halberdier here, and suddenly Vinchester full-on Cavalier spam. You have worse Cavalier than your opponent, and you're gonna be fighting against a unit that just shreds your Cavalier. So he's going to have to think of an answer. It might be Rattens, it might be some range against Slam, but I don't think he has enough time to get them on the field.
Yeah, that's a big problem. Like, Slam is already getting Halberdiers in, he's gonna get Siege Ram. Vinchester sees this, so he knows what's coming, but it remains to be seen if he can react now. DauT might be throwing away a lot of ARPs here to the Imp Skirms.
He does have the Werewolf Trebs, though. Like, anytime you get worried about Imp Skirm, he's got those, 16... +1 range onagers in the back.
Yeah, especially when those skirms are so clustered up.
Oh jeez, Classic Pro can't get anything rolling. All the momentum is with GL here. They can't, like, even if they win a fight, GL's always going to have the reinforcements, and it's going to take them 20 minutes just to push back to the middle of the map.
Indeed, and as you said, now it's 2 separate 1v1s, and GL is supposed to win both.
Okay, so only light cav coming out now from Vinchester. I do see a few Rattan Archers, but I'm looking at the upgrades and there's not much. It's not much. And look at the ram push from Slam. On the left side, he's got Halberdiers, he's got Rams coming. He's going to push into that economy. Second castle coming down from Vinchester there, but against Rams, don't know how much that's going to do.
Yeah, on the right side, Classic Pro is getting annihilated. Vinch is trying to send some help, but it's mostly light cav.
I would like to see with excess resources in the bank, and DauT has so many resources. I'd like to see him just tech into Halberdier, just in case he needs it. Like you have it in the bank, make Halberdier, support your archer mass, just in case Vinchester gets some cavalry on the field. But at the moment, looking over at Vinchester's base, probably won't be necessary.
Yeah, it won't. Like, Vinch tried to send in some cap to snipe the traps, so Warwolf isn't a problem for Classic Pro, but I don't think that Classic Pro's side is the problem now.
Yeah, DauT is just demolishing any army that comes near him.
Yeah, like, at this point, Slam will just overrun Vinch here. Vinch has no two-step, event. Vinch is at 9 army.
Yeah, Vinch is really struggling. Slam's even sending in random rams to the right of his base because he knows how distracted he is. And now Vinch and Classic Pro call the GG. That was a good performance there from GL. A little bit worrying for them when Vinchester got into Slam's economy and then when they were pressuring over there. But great play from DauT to establish a position against Classic Pro while he was helping out his ally. And we saw the devastating results of getting Werewolf. So good tech switch from him early to get that and to dominate Classic Pro over on the right side.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the civ advantage was massively on the side of Slam and DauT, but that is because Vinch and Classic Pro went for some awkward civs here, and their like full-on Castle Age aggression didn't work out, and since the game was an imp, they fell behind in terms of unit composition. Alright, so that brings us to one of the home maps for Salt's Team Islands or Coast to Mountain. We know how much Salt's loves Team Islands from Hidden Cup, or well, it was Islands at that time, but still, Salt's players just love that water map overall.
Yeah, and Team Islands is one where it gets a bit squirrely, right? Because you're not really sure, is this a water map? Is this a land map? Like, the meta has shifted, especially for 2v2, over to, one player going water and one player landing. But with the Sal's guys, you never really know. They could go for double landing. They could go for double water. You're never sure with these guys. They come up with these crazy strats, especially Vinchester, that GL are going to have to do a good job scouting and identifying exactly what the plan is from them early and be able to react to it early.
Absolutely. When you're ready, we can jump into the next game. I'm at 10 seconds, so we should be good to go whenever you're ready. And we're going to Team Islands.
Yeah, I will be there in a second, and I'm at 10 seconds right now. I'm ready to go.
All right, let's do 3, 2, 1, and go. So welcome to Team Islands. we will have Vinchester+ClassicPro on the right side as Koreans in yellow, and Italians for Vinch in red versus Gods for DauT in green, something that he used in one of the previous rounds, and Portuguese for Slam in blue.
So I'm assuming that did GL pick the Koreans pick for
Yeah.
cells? Okay. So Koreans aren't actually that bad here. I think if you're wanting, you know, a civ with water presence, once you get them into the Castle Age, it's a pretty good option. And Italians obviously a very, very good water civ in their own right. Portuguese a good water civ. Goths seem like the odd one out here.
Yeah,
They
it's
kinda
tricky.
do.
Because, believe it or not, Gods have everything but Dry Dock and Elite Cannon Galleon. So, they're not that bad. Obviously, not necessarily the idea of water civ. I think the tricky thing is that the Koreans don't have demos. So, it could be troublesome for Vinchester+ClassicPro to deal with like fast fires from the Gothic player, because it is only Vinchester who is capable of making demos.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Maybe, you know, if I was in the cells position, I might start thinking like Italians open up on water early. The Koreans player attempts to go for a landing. If that landing succeeds, great. He'll stay on land. You know, he'll make archers or towers or whatnot on the enemy island. If it fails, he can always fall back to turtle ships in the Castle Age. And then the Italian player can see what he wants to do, maybe go for a landing of his own or go for the demo ships, like you said, and try and get up to Imperial Age a little bit quicker.
Yeah, it definitely is a possibility for either side to go landing as well. So, Koreans, not necessarily bad landing civ, especially because if you make a couple of towers and your opponent doesn't destroy them in feudal, you will get the guard tower upgrade, and that is going to be very annoying to deal with when it's on your island.
Yeah, and you can always, if you're on stone, you can always maybe transition that into a castle as well if they're not taking out your original position. Plus the archer play from Koreans is pretty good as well. So on the GL side, Portuguese probably going for water and Goths probably going for, would you think early landing from Goths? Or are we seeing something a little bit later?
It's hard to say. Like, I can see both of those working out. I don't know how much you would be able to gain with an early landing for Gods here. So maybe like a delayed landing could be more reasonable, because Gods can be very annoying in Castle Age if they actually get to land you. But it's a side dock from DauT, which makes me wonder if this is just a standard galley play.
It could be. It could be both teams just going full water here. We'll see something a little bit more meta from the past rather than the current meta on Team Islands. Goths could also, you know, you could also land with them and open with something like scouts just to get a position on the enemy. And then once you're in Castle Age, if you have those villagers over there, you could do a lot of damage with them as long as they're safe.
Indeed, we have a back dock for Vinch and a back dock as well for Slam. Maybe are we going to see fast castles here from both?
Fast castles from both Slam and DauT? Or from
no.
Vinch and Slam? Okay.
Vinch and Slam, yeah. I feel like...
I was thinking, that's audacious, man. Like, let's just... No respect to the other guys. Let's just go FC. Screw it.
Yeah, I feel like it's always interesting because it shouldn't work, but sometimes it does for pro players. It feels like a little bit like Red Bull. You make Empire Wars, so it's like super aggressive and whatnot, and then you end up everybody just voting Arabian booming into Castle Age.
Well, I think it's all about mind games and it's about expectations, right? So on Team Islands and islands in general, it's all about mind games. You can't really tell anything. You have no scouting information early. The only information you have is the score and the uptimes. And you have to judge everything by that. So it gets a little bit difficult, especially when there's a meta that's constantly shifting with so many civs in the game now. Sometimes you can get away with something like a FC, but other times, I mean, if the guy is across from you is going super aggressive, you get punished hard for that kind of play.
And we're gonna have DauT going for what seems to be just a standard galley play. Whereas for Slam, what is he up to? Seems like galleys to me as well, but with backtalk that's a little bit more awkward.
Yeah, maybe... Let's see, Slam's resources. Yeah, he's going for a second dock now. Definitely not just going for an FC. He's going for some sort of water pressure. It's just... How much is he going to invest before he clicks up?
On the other side, it looks like Souls is preparing for a landing, which is not something that would be unprecedented from Gods, but this is, as you said, the mind game part of the thing. Gods can play fairly decent water here.
Okay. Almost in the feudal age here for DauT and Vinchester. There we go. And DauT, third dock on the way. He's going to be going pure galleys.
Yeah, Vinch might actually be thinking about an FC here. It's not going to be super clean, but with Italian cheaper cost on age up, it seems very possible that Vinch can go for a fast castle right away.
Yeah, and it's going to take time for DauT to get back there. And the thing is, with going galleys, like, sure you can send one galley forward or something like that, but you always got to be worried about getting your mass killed early by potential fire ships. So I don't know if DauT's going to be super aggressive with where he sends them, but it looks like he's sending them to the middle rather than the back of the island.
What's more interesting is that ClassicPro actually decides to go for sort of a delayed landing here. This is a very, very late and also quite dangerous. Slam could easily intercept that.
He's making scouts on his own island. And he's going to send them over.
I think he believed that they will get landed. I genuinely believe that they just thought, hey, DauT is Gods and he's gonna land us, so ClassicPro's job was probably to defend the island, and then they're like, hey, there is no one here.
Is it though? Because he hasn't really, like... He's explored a bit, but he hasn't... If they thought they were getting landed, they haven't really seen the galleys from DauT, and they haven't been actively exploring. I think this is like a premeditated strat from ClassicPro to build them on the island and then drop them off.
It definitely is part of the mind game, and like the thing is that if you delay it and Slam and DauT doesn't spot it, you will have 5 scouts immediately. This is, I think, a little bit like what Jordan did to Kaposh in the Hidden Cup qualifiers, that it wasn't like 1 or 2 scouts immediately. You wait until you have 5. The only problem is that they will bump into Slam's walls instead of DauT's very open base.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake from ClassicPro. He went right to Slam after Vinchester signaled the galleys. Or, sorry, Vinchester signaled the galleys from DauT. I think once you know DauT's on galleys, you go directly to DauT. You do not show this to Slam. But now Slam has notified DauT, and DauT is walling up.
Indeed. DauT is gonna need some time to wall up, but I think by the time the scouts arrive, they won't be able to get through. And this is the drawback of this landing, that you won't be able to do anything with these now, because it's not like you have a villager to make ranges and deny second layering.
You're going to be able to control the whole area of the map here, right? It's going to be very, very annoying for DauT and Slam, these scouts. And he might actually find a way in here if he goes fast enough. Okay, DauT closed it up.
Yeah, DauT closed it up, indeed. So, behind this one, ClassicPro lost all his fishing eco, which will mean that his castle age is gonna be pretty bad compared to players like Slam and DauT, but as things stand, it looks like Vinchester's going for a couple of galleys to open up with, tries to fight off DauT, and...
Yeah, Vinchester's gonna get kind of trapped here. There's Slam's army coming from the right, and then DauT's superior force coming from the left, but we were speaking about no villagers. ClassicPro brought 2 more villagers over, Lita. And he is making archery ranges now in front of Slam's base.
Indeed it is. The problem that Swords is facing is that you have very, very good navies for both GL players, and by the time those archers do anything, it is likely that Vinchester is going to lose water.
Oh yeah, he's already lost his fish, so the GL players definitely have an eco advantage there. But it's going to be difficult for Slam because he invested so much in galleys, and now that the fish are gone and Vinchester's navy is on the run, the galleys are... You can make an argument that they're less useful now that Sal's has given up on water. And all that investment that Slam made into them could have been made in defense, and he doesn't have that in the bank to keep his economy safe here.
Yeah, it's a very interesting debate indeed, because he's spent a lot more resources on galleys, so he's gonna struggle a little bit with defense, although in exchange he has a lot better fishing eco, so that might compensate for it. So only time will tell if this works out for him. But as I said, I like that Classic Pro is dropping towers, because if those are converted to guard towers, Slam is gonna have a tough time against them.
Well, he's going to have a tough time against them even if they are watchtowers, you know? Like, it's just time you need to spend clearing them up, and there's military behind. And that means that, like, you can't access the stone at the front. That wood line is basically off limits. The gold is off limits. He has no access to stone at all, actually. I just realized this.
And what's even worse is that DauT is not up to Castle Age, but he's getting overrun by fire ships, so Italian Power Spike coming in useful here.
Yeah, DauT's on the run. He's going to have to run his fishing ships, so he's not going to have that food income coming in. He's only got a couple to the left-hand side, and Slam just went right past Classic Pro's transport ship. So if Classic Pro uses that again and hurts him with it, we're going to look back at that and say, Slam, what were you doing there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he was just so busy fighting at his base that he completely ignored that transport, but that could hurt so badly.
So fire ship's very, very tanky here for Vinchester, but with that amount of galleys, it should be fairly easy to micro that down for DauT and Slam. DauT's actually taking quite a few hits, which is a bit strange, but yeah, they're gonna clear those up and push that back. But more fire ships on the way from Vinchester now.
Indeed. And like Slam is getting War Galley, DauT will grab that as well, but soon Slam is gonna have no safe wood income.
Yeah, I mean, he's TCing in a good spot behind his house walls. You can see how much wood he had to invest in those house walls. That was crazy. His economy's not in a great spot, but at least he's kept himself safe for the time being. And now he's over there helping DauT, helping him push back the Navy from Vinchester. Vinchester actually has 4 fires that are unknown by Slam, so he might be able to flank him here.
And that
Good fight from Vinchester incoming.
That was a beautiful one. He's going to sandwich those War Galleys in between him.
Wow, Slam, just the king of getting trapped with his Navy. We saw it in the Hidden Cup qualifiers, but he manages to kind of sneak his way out of there. A little bit of grease on those War Galleys, and Demo's now coming in from DauT, so it's a full 2v1 on the water against Vinchester.
Indeed it is, but I think that this is where things get tricky for Slam, because replenishing those ships will be awfully hard now that he's getting pushed by crossbows, and I would assume soon Siege. Or you could just try pushing DauT now.
And more towers from Classic Pro. These are excellent towers here. Slam forced to drop a Siege Workshop. He's got to clear them up. Classic Pro has a tower on the stone, a tower on a wood line, and another tower on the wood line to the back.
Winch once again looking for a sandwich. He tried to hide those fire ships in a corner, and it could once again work out.
Yep. And a lot of the galleys from Slam are weak. A lot of the galleys from DauT are weak. Once the numbers go down, it starts to get, you know, better really quickly for Vinchester. The whole key behind War Galleys is the mass. And now he can pull him towards his production buildings. And this is it's a weird place for DauT and Slam to fight. If they're sitting underneath the docks.
They're inside DauT's base though. DauT got distracted. I think they just ran past that TC. That's the only place where they could have gotten in. So, probably distraction, and then now DauT is losing a lot of villagers.
Yep. This is starting to look quite nice for the Cells team here. There's a lot of vills going down, a lot of distraction for DauT. He does have 3 TCs, but he's going to have some idle time there, and Vinchester is still pushing back with his fire ships. And like I said, a lot of weak War Galleys there, and they're right underneath the docks.
And he's got a demo in one of those docks, and he's just waiting for the moment.
Sending it in.
No, there is another one instead. The other dog, but this one is also fairly decent.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, this is so good for Salts. And now, even though DauT and Slam have the eco lead, Salts is securing water for themselves.
Yep. And I think Classic Pro should think about he's making a dock at the front. Perfect. I think he should consider either sending more over on land, like more villagers, and potentially going for a castle, or getting back on water.
He's at 1000 stone right now with 12 on stone. He's thinking about a castle here. And honestly, war wagons would be extremely hard for Slam to deal with here. Like, his eco is already so weak. Look at that messy gold mine for Slam.
Yeah, he's so stuck in here. And Koreans coming in clutch here against the mangonels, right? Because it's much harder to kill a guard tower than it is to kill a watchtower. Slam actually trying to repair the ram that Classic Pro is attacking with his villager that's trying to kill the walls on that tower.
Yeah, very nice done by both players, but still, DauT getting a couple of monks in and he converts 2 crossbows on the other side. So he will clean this aggression up eventually, but it is Slam who's under a lot of pressure now.
Ooh, Classic Pro forced to drop the castle with 1 villager, Lita, because Slam came around at exactly the right moment and killed his transport ship that he just made. He doesn't realize that he still has that original transport ship left over on the right side of the map.
Indeed, but can Slam see that castle? Because one villager this, one villager that, if Slam doesn't see it, he won't stop it.
Oh, I think one of the female villagers that he sent over to that TC is going to path around this side, and she might see it.
I mean, this is an awful pathfinding, but Slam is probably the happiest person alive for that awful pathfinding.
And here come the, oh man, here come the mangonels. It's 1 villager and a dream.
Oh.
What a huge shot for Classic Pro, and now there's no range units to get at those that villager. So he might be able to complete the castle by himself.
Oh man, it's 40% still, 1 villager and the dream, but as you said, there is no ranged component right now for Slam here to stop that. DauT is bringing the monks. He wants to convert that will, I think.
But there is a transport ship loaded with villagers from Classic Pro. It's just waiting to come over. He's very busy.
He converts 2 crossbows, and now they can stop that castle with the converted crossbows by DauT.
Oh my god. And now there's no military presence, so even if he brings the transport ship... Oh man, that Slam finding that second transport ship from Classic Pro when he did is such a huge deal now. It's a massive deal in this situation. Now Classic Pro, he has to relocate his castle to the front of Slam's base.
He didn't relocate it, that's a second castle drop.
Oh my, how much stone did he have?
He had like 1,000 5 minutes ago. Oh man.
So what's Vinchester looking like over here? Still producing fire ships. He's got 3 TCs. Is he thinking about going up to Imperial Age pretty soon? He has the resources.
Oh no. Classic Pro, he didn't finish the quick walls and the crossbows are inside the tower so the villagers can't hop in.
Oh boy. 2 failed castles, and here comes DauT with his army of 4 converted crossbows.
Luckily for Vinch, he's got the guard tower to scare them away. So I think this castle, honestly, no crossbows.
He's gonna hop out on Slam's side with the villagers potentially.
But there's a mangonel coming from the other side.
This is a disaster, Classic Pro.
DauT really showing how to make DauT castles. And Imp coming in for Vinch, so this is not over yet for Salts, but obviously 2 failed castles is not going to help you.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the... let me see. I thought I saw a lot of fishing ships. I guess they got wiped out. I was about to say a lot of the economy from GL is in fishing ships, but I guess Vinchester's been doing a good job picking them off. So the economy numbers are actually accurate here as Classic Pro tries to escape with those villagers again, but the converted crossbows are back, giving him nightmares. And he's going to be forced to, well, he's just going to be forced to watch them die, I guess.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like a horror movie, the return of the converted crossbows.
Imperial Age coming in pretty soon here for Vinchester. Fast fire is going to be a big spike.
But DauT also has fast fires for himself, and he's only like a minute or so behind, and he's getting some nice demo hits here. So we shouldn't overlook the fact that DauT is on 5 TCs booming with GOTS and teching into fast fires. He's also making a transport.
Mm-hmm.
Because
making a transport ship, Vinchester should see that. Now, whether he notices it is another question. That'll give him a good indication about what DauT is thinking of doing right away.
It kind of feels like DauT could definitely land for just 2 or 3 barracks with Anarchy and Perfusion, and that could be really strong. ClassicPro cancelled.
He's got to get the castle up first, though. And
Yeah.
he's going to put it on the front side there. Vinchester just now reaching Imperial Age. He's got all those docks in the front for production. He's on stone for a castle of his own. Meanwhile, ClassicPro forced to castle. His 3rd castle foundation goes down defensively. And he's going to place some docks down and try and get water control, too.
Yeah, at least he gets that castle up.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed if he didn't, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think Slam's defense here overall was very nice. Like, the Rams now taking down the towers. Given the circumstances, he defended very nicely. And now ClassicPro has to go for Galleons.
Is DauT going to run into the castle from ClassicPro? No, he runs into the war wagons from ClassicPro. And there's a monk there from Vinchester, so maybe a little bit of, you know, revenge for the conversions DauT got earlier.
Yeah, it's very possible, and Korean guard towers will be excellent to keep those villagers away.
Yeah, 1 barracks isn't going to accomplish a whole lot.
Famous
Even
last
from the
words versus gods. Yeah. That's Anarchy over there. Indeed, 1 barracks shouldn't do much, but we have seen instances where 1 barracks can be so annoying overall. The transport from DauT goes down, that's very important.
Yeah, DauT getting Perfusion and Anarchy here.
And Vinch is
The
bringing
armor
in
upgrades
condos.
coming in. Yeah, condos and the walls should be able to take care of this. DauT's going to have to find another way to land on the Cells Island.
By the way, Slam also found a way to land, and he's inside the base of Slam here with 4 knights, now just 3 after a conversion.
Yeah, that's a good little bit of harassment. I didn't even see that coming over.
Yeah, it's tricky, because Slam's got a transport himself, and he's transporting stuff around, as ClassicPro is willing to build the vault of towers on this little
I
southern
love
area.
that. That's such a great play because it cuts off any opportunity, especially if it gets heated shot. Any opportunity for Slam to loop Navy around there, he will get decimated by 3 towers like that.
Yeah, especially if he gets Upsong, because those towers will have 30 in range, so they will take down ships from, like, insane distances.
Is he getting elite? I thought I saw elite turtle ship coming in, right?
I
Or
would
was
have
that
been...
elite war wagon?
let's
No,
see.
elite turtle ship.
I didn't see elite turtle ship, so it might have been a misclick, because... or he finished it. He definitely isn't going for galleons, but he's not producing anything either.
He doesn't have the wood, so I mean, 74 wood isn't even enough to make 1 turtle ship. So.
Indeed. I think part of that comes down to the fact that those knights killed a couple of lumberjacks, most likely cannon galleon on the way for Vinch, and he definitely has the control over the north to start taking down DauT's castle here. DauT another landing attempted here, but that's just gonna be a failure with condos stopping it.
Look at that one archer on the bottom side of the map in Slam's base where that tower used to be. Slam killed the tower, but he didn't kill the archer, and it's still walled in. So it's effectively a tower here, just kind of sitting behind this wood line. That's very annoying.
There's a conversion indicator on it, so I think at some point Slam will try to convert Silk Road for Vinchester to establish trade a little bit better. And now it's Galleon for ClassicPro, so I don't think that he's gonna go for elite turtle ships, even though he definitely would have received some style points for that.
I'm wondering what I saw then, because I was pretty sure I saw that upgrade coming in.
Yeah, I think it could have been a misclick, honestly. Now, here's the deal. Portuguese galleons, especially if they get Karak, they will be extremely strong against, like, any kind of galleons.
And I wonder when, in a 2v2 situation, when do you see the Fittorias coming out?
Never. I think it's more about the trade.
Yeah, it's kind of a delicate balance, right? You don't really want to give up that pop space if your allies were relying on you for some military pressure. And trade, yeah, trade's a good option. Transport ship coming around from Slam on the right side. And he's going to kind of debate with his demo ships to tank the fire from the towers, but there are fire ships from Vinchester waiting there, so
yeah,
those villagers will die.
Those towers are just absolutely crazy. They don't even have the +2 range. And on the left side, DauT doesn't have a fleet, and that's a big difference. DauT has a transport, but DauT has no navy, and he's going to start losing those castles.
Yep, elite cannon galleons out. Maybe I was looking at the elite cannon galleon research from Vinchester. I don't know. It's difficult, but he's going to take down that castle at the front. DauT could also lose that castle on the left side, and then that gold will be exposed. And then if Vinchester, you know, loops around to that left side and takes control of that with his navy, suddenly trade isn't really an option for GL.
Indeed, one of the ways that you can end the game in Team Islands in 2v2 is take down the castles that protect the trade, because whoever is going to have a slightly more efficient trade is going to win.
Yep.
Slam now has Karak as well.
I'd love to see Classic Pro do the same thing with towers that he did on this side over on the other side with Koreans.
Classic Pro still has an archer range that's intact on the opponent's island with 3 crossbows inside. He could do some damage with those at some point.
He's doing fine at the front. I think as long as he holds against Slam over on the right side here, Vinchester can quite literally win the game for them by just holding this position along the left coast for DauT.
Classic Pro's navy is weaker, but he's got better numbers, and more importantly, DauT has no fleet, so it's pretty much 2v1 on water, and it's 120 army versus 45 only.
And at any point, Classic Pro can just fall back to these towers, and they will shred.
Absolutely, and I think we could soon see a landing from either Vinch or Classic Pro for a couple of condos as well, so they can start applying land pressure.
See, I like condotieros. I used to think they were good raiding unit on islands, but like once you're more than a minute into Imperial, they really fall off. So I think even teching into something else other than condos would be probably better in this situation, or just focusing on the water, because I think you win this game with water even without landing. If you're cells, just continue the push on the left side
and finish off the opponent's trade. Now the crossbows pop out, and they could potentially pick off a couple of vills here from Slam, but as you said, it's all about pushing the trade here, and that is getting scary for GL.
DauT really underreacted to the water pressure from Vinchester. He added the extra docks too late. I think he got maybe a little bit greedy, or was relying on having land on Vinchester and Classic Pro's island, and suddenly he's just overwhelmed over here. I mean, he can't do anything about those elite cannon galleons. They're going to take out that castle. They're going to take out all of his docks, and he's just going to keep going farther and farther around the island trying to find his safe dock spot. He's not going to find it.
Yeah, and at some point it's going to come down to more trade numbers. DauT and Slam better trade numbers, but if they lose those markets, it won't matter, because efficiency will be missing.
Yep.
Especially
I really like the fact that Classic Pro and Vinchester are also holding it down on the front end of the island with cannon galleons and galleons, preventing any future docks from coming up too.
Yeah, exactly. And now I think once again it feels a bit like 2 separate 1v1s, but Vinch is winning the left side and Classic Pro is winning the right side. It's 65 galleons for him. Slam has 32 only.
Yeah, excellent play here from Vinchester and Classic Pro. If they just keep up the production, don't take any silly fights, slow and steady, you win this game.
Indeed, and I think the 2 players that are probably the most slow and steady players in the world on Team Islands is Vinch and Classic Pro. We could see that in Hidden Cup.
Castle will go down for DauT.
Yeah.
He's going to try and kill these cannon galleons, but...
This is a good fight, actually. Like, his fast fires are coming in clutch, although now fast fires in for Vinch as well. And it probably just delays the inevitable here on the left side.
Yep. And the fast fire is coming in from Vinch now. He's still got that galleon mass. DauT was forced to take that to save that castle. And I think it's limited time only.
Yeah, and it also cost him quite a lot of stone, which obviously is not ideal either. And for now, we're gonna have cannon galleons on the front as well from Vinch taking down another castle from Slam.
Landing now. Classic Pro. He's got 20 villagers in his ship. He got that final research upgrade
Look at
for
that.
the extra capacity. And there... is DauT going to notice in time? He drops 2 castles. What?
He's like, you denied 2 castles from me, but I intend to make 2 castles on your island.
Crazy, and DauT didn't see it in time. It's over.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is over.
I mean, DauT is busy fighting the left side, but it's 140 army versus 50, as Classic Pro is on 70 galleons and 2 castles on the opponent's island. Indeed, this seems over.
That's a power play right now, because if you're in DauT's position and you look over, there's only 1 castle, you're like, maybe I could potentially deal with that. If you look over and there's 2 castles, you're like, the game's done. It's over.
Yeah, and
Dusted.
we'll probably see famous and well-renowned condottieri from the Korean player.
Yeah, he's forced to delete some pop to get some space here, and so many villagers are just kind of wandering around aimlessly for GL, trying to find safe resources.
But there is none.
There's none.
There's absolutely none. And now it's Korean towers coming in here. They still don't have the range upgrade, which is a bit of a mistake from Classic Pro, but not really a big deal at this stage.
I don't think he's needed it up till this point, right?
It could have been help from the right side, maybe, but now it is coming in. But, as I said, I don't think that it matters that much.
DauT is going into Huskarl. He does have elite Huskarl. This is a tech I did not see come in, but even if you have 40 elite Huskarl right now, what are they going to do? They can't do anything.
Yeah, exactly, and you have no water control to transport them over, and you would just get galleon down from the shoreline, so...
Classic Pro can just make a line of towers like he's doing right across the center of this base. Suddenly, what little trade they have left is getting sniped. DauT's going to have to spend 20 minutes clearing this up, and Vinchester keeps looping around with his navy. Vinchester has gone so far with his naval push, he's now fighting Slam near Slam's docks.
Indeed, and now we will soon see a push from Classic Pro as well, because Classic Pro is just holding position with 80 galleons.
Yep. And Vinchester is going to signal the enemy units at the back, and that's Classic Pro's cue to start pushing in towards Slam's trade route and Slam's docks.
Yeah, he's going to lose a couple of ships to the castle fire, but at this stage it might be worth it. Especially because the cannon galleons took down the castle for Slam, and he might lose the traps to the cannon galleons as well.
I'd like to see maybe a transport ship from Vinchester as well. Maybe even just either condotieros or... I mean, you could go for like light cav too. Just run him around the economy, start hitting stuff from DauT.
I feel like at this point, just pure cannon galleons will be enough. Like, they're taking down all the buildings from GL. It's just a matter of time until GL runs out of resources, like, literally.
So Slam was low on pop space, dropped 2 Fiturias, but that is... that's gonna take a while to pay off.
Yeah, that's gonna take a lot of time to pay off. Vinch, by the way, is floating 3,000 stones, so you could just castle every single tile on DauT's island.
God, what a great performance from these two. Especially after the landing got cleared up, the 2 castles got denied from Classic Pro. Just dominant water play here from Vinchester.
Yeah, indeed, DauT is down to 58 eco, so he's not gonna be able to replenish army at all. And now they don't have trade rolling, or at least no legitimate trade.
Well, Slam's got a caravan going over here. He's got 19 trade carts. He's looking for a market leader, and DauT is signaling the original one in his base.
Yeah, it's tricky because the trade carts will choose the furthest away, and that is the one inside DauT's original base. But that would just kill those trade carts, so you gotta clean up your market positions, otherwise they would just run into their death.
I think, like, trade is not the issue here for Slam at the moment, though. He's still got 1k gold in the bank. He's got the Fiturias. It's just, it's getting something going. Where are your production buildings? Where can you even place extra docks? How can you kill this navy at all? It's going to be so tough for him, and I think all of the players in here have to have realized that this game is basically over about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, especially with Slam losing the castle on the right as well, so... They have lost all the markets now, and Slam is just hoping that the Praetorias will save them, apparently.
Yeah. And DauT's saying, well, I have all the techs for Elite Huskarl. Maybe if we clear this up, maybe I could get some over to their island. Maybe I could get some barracks there. It's a whole lot of maybes, though.
And, yeah. And, like, GL is legitimately running out of resources soon, and as we discussed, Praetorias Like, it could only work if Swords runs out of wood, because in that case it's a more reliable wood income than buying.
Okay, so the castle will go down. Good teamwork there from Slam and DauT to take out both those castles and all the towers. But what do you do now? Your objective is complete. The castles are down. What now?
GG maybe. Because, like, they have no water presence. They have 11 galleons for Slam. DauT's got no eco, and, like, at this point, the remaining wood lines for DauT and Slam are exposed to galleon fire as well.
Yep.
So, you just need cannon galleons.
Victorias are exposed to cannon galleons too.
Yeah, you just need to galleon things down, and Vinch has been even destroying houses with those cannon galleons, because as the wood price increases and we're running out of wood, houses being killed is gonna be annoying as well.
Yep. And Vinchester has found the docks from DauT that he was attempting to put down to make transport ships or to make additional water presence. He's going to loop his navy back around there, and they're going to continue to kill the Victorias and harass the wood lines at the back.
Yeah, I feel
I
like...
don't know why GL is in this game right now.
Yeah,
I have no
me
clue.
neither. People are like, oh, Team Islands is a bad map because it stalls out so much. It's not Team Islands being bad, it's players not resigning when it seems like they're just having nowhere to go.
Yep. Well, Slam may be able to wipe out a few cannon galleons here. He got a couple.
Yeah, but will that be enough? I don't think so. DauT actually got some very, very nice heavy demo hits on the north, so sunk quite a lot of fire ships, but still...
Oh, Classic Pro, more villagers on the island, but there's a treb right there.
Yeah, indeed. Still, at this point, Vinchester Classic Pro combined for 98 trade, DauT and Slam combined for 31.
Yeah, and that res is going to just continue banking for Classic Pro and for Vinchester. Vinchester with 13,000 wood in the bank, Lita. He's you know, stocking up for the lean times.
Yeah, honestly, it makes sense. Like, I can even see, especially if he's floating wood, just buying wood.
Yep.
Like, as long as the prices are down, buy as much wood as you can, because that's going to be more expensive as the game goes forward.
What is the conversation between DauT and Slam? Probably Slam, for the last 20 minutes, has been saying, oh, I think it might be over. I think it might be over. And DauT's probably, hold. Victoria's, hold.
Another redocking from Slam, this time on the far left, but this will be found by Vinch once again. DauT and Slam have 240 population compared to 400 pop.
And two of those Victorias are within range of the cannon galleons. That one's going to go down. He's going to have, like... Look, he's trying to find the optimal position, Lita. He's lost about 3 or 4 Victorias, and he's trying to ride that middle line between the two coasts to find where they can't be hit.
But still, I mean... This feels like just a matter of time, but I really don't know what DauT and Slam have going for them here. Like, Slam is trying to redock for galleons. Their only hope would be to somehow secure momentum on water and then get DauT to land.
More villagers coming over from Classic Pro. He's just got transport after transport sending them over. Vinchester's controlling the whole shoreline. Slam does have the docks on the left-hand side, but looking at his resources, like, I don't think he has enough for consistent production.
Nope. And, like, at this point, taking on the lumber camps with the cannon galleons is annoying because replacing them is just so expensive. And scale mail for Vinch, I think this is the time where Vinch will decide to go for a condo landing himself.
It's actually amazing that they've managed to set up a trade line that is not getting hit by the Navy on either side. It's just right down the middle with the Victorias.
Yeah, exactly, especially once Slam places a Praetoria right in the middle of that trade, so that it's going to be as much blocked as possible.
Yep. They're not even going to the optimal market. They're going to the other one. So they're bouncing against each other. There's a market to the south of that one. It could be going to.
It's 130 army against 40 army combined for DauT and Slam. And okay, now it's another landing from Classic Pro. And I feel like DauT and Slam would just not be able to even replenish the Huskars soon.
Yeah, DauT's got more docks coming down, but Vinchester realizes that their win condition is just keep killing the docks from Slam and DauT. Like, don't let them have any water presence. Don't let them anywhere near your starting island, and just keep your navy on the shorelines of theirs, and eventually you're gonna strangle them to death.
Big demo hit here from DauT, but even just big demos won't help him here. And supplies from ClassicPro, so maybe Champion is the play here for him? Well,
He's
makes
got
sense.
a bunch of condos cleared or queued up, but he has the resources. Why not just go for a better unit, right?
Yeah, makes sense, especially against the Huskars. Although, it really is just a matter of time.
Well, you've been saying that for the last 20 minutes, so...
But that's the case, right?
How much time, I guess, is the question.
Well, DauT thinks that he still has a chance to come back to water with some big demo hits, and he's sinking quite a lot of fire ships, but Vinch is sitting on 20k wood.
DauT just chopped his last tree. So... There are trees on the Slam side, but there's nothing over in DauT's side. And now, oh my goodness, so many barracks on the north of their island from Vinchester. So we're gonna have like, what, 10 barracks from ClassicPro, and then we're gonna have 7 barracks over on the north from Vinchester.
Yeah, and you can't even kill those easily because there's like galleons and cannon galleons helping to protect those. DauT and Slam are still like... Slam actually has a very, very good food income. Faetoria's coming in clutch here for him. But still, like, they have 0 shoreline control, and Vinch and ClassicPro are just banking up resources.
What is going on with GL? Why? Why stay in this?
I have
You
no
know
idea.
it's over.
Yeah, like, maybe they are hoping in the Faetoria power, but that's not really going to be the case in 2v2.
You have trade. Yeah, exactly.
DauT is just flooding. Look at
Look
DauT.
at the queue for Vinchester, dude. 14 in every barracks.
Like, DauT is also flooding Huskars. He's got 56 Huskars on the field, man. Like, DauT is playing this one like Arabia flooding Huskars right now.
I don't know. He's getting his entire trade and economy wiped up behind while he's busy with the Condotieros from
Yeah.
ClassicPro.
And look at the snipe from Vinch. He goes for the monastery because they know that the relics will be important.
Yep.
Something that Vinchester often loves to do because this is something that you do in like very long games on Arena.
And he's going for the Fatoria. I think in that position you just go for the military and then target the Fatoria later. Yeah, he switched off of it. Slam is repairing it, but now he's got no market to trade with.
And Bombard Towers coming in here for Vinch. Remember, he has 4,000 stone in the bank. That is enough for quite a lot of Bombard Towers.
Dude, he could literally take his stone, okay, and make walls straight across the GL island. He can do it. There's no military there. Like, just wall up the whole thing so there's absolutely no potential for them to come back. Screw castles, just make walls everywhere. It's just ridiculous. Why is GL still fighting here?
And also, DauT's gold mine on the north is something that he wasn't able to finish, so Vinch is taking that.
Like, I like to see players play out games to their full potential, but this is literally like, yeah, this is ridiculous, I think.
Yeah, to a point it is. Indeed. Like, I just don't see... DauT is 10 population. Like, regardless of team islands or not, players aren't really sticking, or shouldn't really be sticking, when they are down to... Like, they have 109 pop, but the reality is that it is just Faetorias. So,
So stupid.
yeah, I mean, it's team islands, but come on. Like, GL stayed in this until they had 0 units left.
Yep, I guess they're ready to fight. They're ready to fight for the victory. That was a great performance there from Vinchester and ClassicPro. Great comeback, especially after the the early clear up on the fish for both of them from the GL team, and Vinchester being behind in Navy and ClassicPro failing 2 castle foundations. Like, really, really solid stuff on their end.
Yeah, I feel like 20k gold income for both Souls players from trade. DauT and Slam combined for 9k.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, tells a whole lot about this game.
Look at the timeline. Are you out of the game already? Because literally at the end of that, Lita, GL owned about less than 10% of the timeline space by the end of that game. That I've never seen that. That's oof.
Yeah, indeed. They just, ever since like 50-ish so minutes, GL had nothing going for them.
Oh boy.
I casted the previous set with Memb, and he was like, thank God no team islands. I feel like now he's a little bit sad and disappointed.
Actually, I really like that map. I really, really like Team Islands. I think as long as Portuguese aren't involved, it's a fantastic map. We just need to get rid of Victorious.
Yeah, that is definitely something. Both for 1v1s and for team games. And now, we will go to one of the home maps for DauT and Slam, which I believe should be Regicide Fortress. And
yep, it is Regicide Fortress, and I am waiting at 10 seconds in game. I'm ready before you are. I'm quick, man. Yeah, I'm a speed runner. You gotta catch up.
Indeed you are.
10-second percent. TwoPools.
Alright, so whenever you're ready, we are good to start. So let's do a countdown with 3, 2, 1, and go.
Do we go on 1 or do we go on go?
On go. Like, that's why I'm saying go.
I've been going on 1 though.
Oh, it's fine. It's all fine.
Okay.
So, we're gonna have Vinchester with Burmese in red, and ClassicPro will be playing as Malay in yellow. An interesting combo of civs, whereas Slam and DauT will be playing in Chinese and Burgundians.
Chinese and Burgundians. Now, I'm wondering... Chinese are great. Regicide Fortress Civ. Is this Regicide or is this just Fortress?
This is Regicide, yes.
Okay, and I'm wondering for Burgundians, do you get the eco upgrades early? Oh, there they are!
Yeah,
there they are for DauT. He's answering my question.
Yeah, that's gonna be a hyper boom from DauT with that super early horse color and double bit axe for him. Yeah, I feel like the bigger problem for Vinch and ClassicPro is that late game, their unit comp is just a little bit questionable. Like, what do Burmese and Malay do together?
Okay, what do either of those civs do against just Chinese?
Yeah, that is a good question as well. I mean,
like, you can just kill them both with only Chinese. If you get Chukanu mass and you get some castles to support that and like some siege, it's just rough. And then you add in the Burgundians on the other side, and it's looking tough for ClassicPro and Vinchester. Another situation similar to Arabia where you might just be out-civved in the late game.
Indeed, and Game Legion is very, very strong when it comes to drafting, so it makes sense to see them having the civ advantage in this one. Indeed, I think that one thing that could go for Malay is maybe a faster Imperial Age. That could be something to consider.
Faster Imperial Age and hope that you do damage to the Chinese early. The Burgundians is going to be a really interesting civ to watch here because they have really big power spikes, but it's not consistent, right? Like their tech tree is kind of lacking. So I wonder what DauT is going to work towards. Have you seen much of the Burgundians in this tournament so far? What's the meta behind them?
Usually you see them on Arabia, and they just played like standard cavalry civ, and they're using cavaliers in Castland, riding the wave of early Padin. Other than that, I don't think I've seen a single Coustellaire, for example, in Burgundians so far. So
I think we're unlikely to see those here as well, especially if you're going to be seeing elephants or a Rambai on the field. Castilia don't feel like they match up very well against that.
Yeah, that is it is very, very unlikely to see that, I would say, as well. So I think it's probably going to be like Chinese just having a good eco here, and then going for that ramp push that you said. Maybe even Hob and ramp could be something, and then just back it up with a bunch of heavy cavalry from Burgundians, like early Paladin or so.
I think if you're Burgundians, you could opt for early Paladin and then tech switch into Helb to help your ally out. And if the players on the other side are going like Elephant, you're going to shred that, and then your ally is going to shred whatever their complementary unit is, whether it's Arambai or some sort of range or whatnot.
Or you can just go fast in Flemish Revolution, that's always an option.
I mean, it is DauT, so there's potential for that.
Alright, so Feudal Age in for everybody. And it looks like DauT is going to be going up with Market Blacksmith, so it's just going to be a boom from him. Same thing for Slam, although he could add some Chukonus. And I think the real question is what the Burmese player is up to, because this is the moment where you could go for a double Castle Rambai play.
Do you want to go double Castle or Rambai on a 2v2, though?
Hard to say, because normally I don't really like that, but you have to consider that they don't have a good late game comp. They actually went for double Castle Rambai against WWP, and that was the final game, and they lost it. So that might change their look on double Castle Rambai plays.
It just feels really risky, right? Because you're stuck there producing, you can't get your economy really rolling behind it, and then if your push gets stalled out, suddenly your enemy has a much superior economy, and they're advancing the Imperial faster than you are, so it's a do or die situation, I think, for that strategy.
Alright, so we will have Classic Pro buying some food to click up, and that fast Boso coming in for DauT as well. He is a little low on wood for 3 TCs for the time being, so it might just be 2 TCs to start the day with.
Do you get the Imperial Age wood upgrade right away if you're Burgundians? Or do you wait?
I would
I've been
say...
trying to figure that out.
You mean the Imp upgrade?
Yeah, for the Lumberjacks.
I feel like you do not. I think it's worth more to add 2 more TCs instead of like grabbing the final wood upgrade for the Lumberjacks.
I mean, it's a good upgrade.
It is.
It's a good one. It's a 20%er. Like, I don't know. Question for the philosophers, I guess. Or 10%er, sorry, not 20%er.
It is. We'll have Castle Age coming in here for Vinch. 3 TC boom for Classic Pro for the time being, and we will have DauT with just 2 TCs in the Monastery first, so he's gonna go for a Relic Collection.
Relic Collection, little bit difficult when you have 2 enemy scouts running around. So he's going to have to coordinate with his ally to safely get those in. Meanwhile,
Or
Vinchester also going for relics. He's making Monastery right away as well.
the alternative is that you add a Custelier, so you have an upper hand over the opponent's scouts, and that's exactly what DauT is doing. Poor Bear. Poor Bear just got...
Arambai here for Vinchester, though. So now he's going to have the advantage over the Custelier.
Yeah, he will. It was actually very fun. Like, a Bear tried to attack that poor Custelier, but guess what? Charge damage is not something that bears like.
What speed are you on for capture rates, by the way? Because you're like blowing past me all the time, and I'm on standard speed.
I'm on standard speed as well. I'm at 30 minutes right now.
Goddamn capture age! I swear to God. Never works. Oh well, I'll keep up with you.
Alright, it's all cool. I can pause so that you can catch up.
No. I'll keep up with you. Don't worry about it.
Alright. It looks like DauT might be able to yoink the scout of Classic Pro here, but instead he's going to use the charge attack of the Custelier to finish off that 1 HP scout. So now, eco-wise, Swords and GL are both even, but the danger of GL here on this map is that they have an insanely good boom for both of their players.
Yeah, it's just whether you can get into that Imperial composition, right? Like we spoke about it enough before. Burmese and Malay maybe struggle quite a bit against Chinese. It's just whether Slam can get all the techs in time, get the castles up in time to get the Chukanu numbers that he needs before Classic Pro and Vinchester have a good position in the middle of the map.
Yeah, indeed. What I like about Vinchester is that he's slowly adding a run-by. He's not greedy with those, but he will slowly build up his numbers, and that's going to be a formidable force in early Imp.
Yeah, and it's a force that stays good even if you don't get the elite upgrade. Like it's still a decent unit, especially when you're talking about an early mass of Chukunu that maybe doesn't have the full upgrades. As Vinchester heads over here to try and see what he can pick off, and Slam might lose all of these for free.
Yeah, indeed, those Chukanus have 0 upgrades, so that was a very, very nice one from Vinch. He didn't lose a single of those run-by, so you can just go back home and heal them up.
Yeah, Arambai now with less attack than they used to, so it's harder for them to get into the stone walls. But anytime Slam sends units out there, it's going to be able to capitalize. Relic coming back now from Vinchester, so that's a good pickup. I wonder if he brings it to his own base or puts it in his allies' monastery. Doesn't look like Classic Pro has one yet.
Yeah, it looks like he will be just bring it back, although you could just drop it off inside your allies' base. More Custoliers coming in here for DauT. In the moment you said you don't think there is going to be any Custoliers, we are seeing multiple one of those, and they could be dangerous against a run-by if they charge in.
I'm going to clarify that. We're not going to see it as a main unit composite. Now we are. Now that I said it, now we're gonna see it. Post him. Elite Costelier is going to have like 80 of them.
Oh man. Would be the first time we would see it in a tournament, I believe. And honestly, against a run-by, I might like them. Because a run-by are slow, so if you can like do one good charge, you could actually kill quite a lot of those run-by.
Yeah, but with the stray knives or whatever, axes or whatever they throw now, hitting units, big groups of Costelier might get shredded by a big group of Arambai, right?
Yeah,
and
those
then
are actually
kind of
javelins.
useless. Yeah, javelins, whatever. Knives, spears, swords, javelins.
In fact, the Arambai is actually the weapon they throw.
So what's the dude on top?
It's called the Meitei Cavalry.
Okay. Darts? They throw like lawn darts? These things are dangerous, dude.
So, as you said, it's actually a little bit harder to get through those stone walls here. And Slam has quite a lot of Chukunus back at home to defend against that. But look at Classic Pro. And both of these players are pretty good on Arena. And that's going to be a bit of an Arena clown gameplay. Fast imp into Trebs for Classic Pro, and maybe even a King Snipe attempt.
And I like this. I like this a lot from this team. I mean, they're going for the Chinese player as well. They're recognizing the threat, right? And if they get that castle down and get in through these walls, they're going to push Slam off his main gold. He's going to be forced to retreat, and he's not going to have the castle numbers he needs for the Chukanu production.
The Chukanus could stop that castle because your run-by are mispositioned, and a bit of Team Islands PTSD here for Classic Pro.
Yeah, they stop it for a couple seconds, and then they head back in. The timing was not really there for Slam and DauT. I think DauT arrived a second too early, and Slam couldn't path around that gate and the castle to get there to kill the villagers. And Classic Pro is going to be up a lot earlier than Slam here, with archery and just coming behind now.
Yeah, that's the Malay power. What I would love to see from Classic Pro is 2 petards to blast through the walls so you can actually run in with the run-by.
Well, I don't... I think running in with the Arambai there would just be sentencing them to death, right? Because there's Chukanu in there, there's TCs, there's castles. I think Classic Pro even underestimated the Malay uptime a little bit here too, Lita, because he's got no military to follow this up. He still needs to produce and tech up his Arbalists. And Slam's going to be in Imperial Age by the time he gets all the techs in.
Yeah, more importantly, there is no university, or at least no chemistry, which would be important because, especially if you only have one castle, you want a couple of bombard cannons as well, because Slam is going to have 2 castles to trap your own castle down.
I don't even know if he can afford bombard cannon at the moment. I mean, he's going into archers, trebs. Like, I think trebs is probably enough here. It's just all about the Arbalest number, and it's not going to be there. Like, he just went up too quickly for his own good, or he didn't plan for production. He started dropping those archer ranges when he was, like, 60% Imperial Age. It's crazy. With Malay, like, that's not giving yourself enough time.
It looks like we'll have Burmese elephants here for Vinch, most likely, because he's getting stables in. And I guess the idea here is that Classic Pro just forces Slam to defend, and then the elephants should be able to overrun DauT here.
DauT going for stables. So he will be going into Quick Paladin.
Indeed. Does he have Cavalier already? Yes, he does. So indeed, that would be an easy quick paladin for him. And Husbandry Bloodlines only for Vinch. No elephants. Or at least not an awful lot of elephants just yet.
So Slam's on about a 10-minute clock here for reclaiming that forward gold. He needs to get that position. Trade won't be set up in time to supplement that. And he only has the gold on the side of his base and in the back. So once that runs out, he's going to be running into problems. But he is getting all of his techs in. He's got 2 castles now. And I think his next priority should be probably thinking about Siege Ram.
Yeah, indeed. Especially because he's up against Arbs. DauT is stacking the Paladin and Vinch is going for Cavalier. But Burmese Cavalier is not something I really like here.
I think he might be going for the Cavalier just to supplement Classic Pro's push rather than to push DauT. I don't know why you would go for Cavalier against Burgundians here, especially when you haven't seen any prior military from them other than a few Castilier.
Yeah, I mean, Cavalier and Arambai could still do the trick, and now Classic Pro is able to start taking down that castle. Slam already escorted the king to the other castle at the back.
Slam's Chukanu is still not really upgraded. It's not a great position for him to be fighting on the other side of that wood line in between the wall. Like, it seems a little bit awkward over there. But he's going to batter down the Trebs from Classic Pro with his own Trebs. And Classic Pro, look at what he's doing here. Do you see what he's setting up? He's setting up a little area for his Trebs or his Arbalest to sit on that hill. So that at any point, DauT can't just swoop in with his Paladin and kill them. And DauT's denying the castle from Vinchester on the other side.
That is very, very big. Vinchester is just stacking into Cavalier, but these are like big question marks. By the time he has like 15 Cavalier, DauT is gonna have Paladins.
Chukanu upgrades still not completely there for Slam, but he does have all the range and all the armor. And he's got 4 Trebs behind this.
Yeah, and this castle from Classic Pro is slowly going down. No bombard cannons to take down the Trebs with.
Here come the Cavalier, though, from Vinchester, and right behind it are the Paladin from DauT.
Oh, this is so tricky. Because this should be way better for DauT and Slam right now. Or is it? Yeah, it is. It is way better.
Yep, forward position is now in jeopardy from Classic Pro, and that timer that I was talking about, it's no longer in effect, assuming Slam clears this up. I mean, the Cavalier from Vinchester...
DauT didn't have +4 defense. And didn't... the Paladin from DauT didn't have +4 defense, so they just got destroyed by the Arbs. And this could still be scary for DauT and Slam, although that bombard cannon getting sniped down by the Trebs definitely doesn't help Classic Pro's push.
The key for GL definitely here is just give Slam time to get Chukanu mass. Give Slam time to get all the upgrades. And we see Elite Chukanu and Rocketry coming in here, Lita. And they're starting to drop the trade as well.
Yeah, this is looking great. I feel like Vinchester's army is just contributing very, very little here. Like, Burmese Cavalier versus Burgundian Paladin. I feel like if it was elephants and he just tries to push DauT, I understand that, but Cavalier here against Paladin feels like just like game number 1.
I think the fear from Vinchester with elephants is that he wouldn't be in time to help his ally. It wouldn't be mobile enough. But yeah, Cavalier is not a substitute for that push, for sure. And you're not going to put any pressure on DauT whatsoever with Cavalier.
Absolutely, and DauT is gonna have a crazy eco. GL is already setting up trade, as you said. Souls is thinking about that, but this is GL's home map, and I feel like, as I said, they have to play aggressive because if Chukunu come in here in good numbers, then Malay will just struggle against that really badly.
Does Slam not have ballistics?
He doesn't have ballistics, yes.
Oh my god. I was wondering why he wasn't hitting any of these shots.
The Chukunus with the rocketry and elite and chemistry, but they're missing ballistics.
Yep.
I wonder if this is... I don't think this is intentional. I mean, it's not like he's just delaying it and he's aware of this.
No. There's no way that's intentional. None.
Yeah,
He's gonna have to miss a moving unit to figure it out.
Yeah, like, sometimes it's just, you're aware that you can't afford it, but, I mean, he's taking the Siege Ram and Caravan. He just probably forgot about it.
Yeah, and this is the composition we were talking about at the beginning of the game. As DauT clears up Vinchester's Trebs on the south side, but Vinchester's going to clear up a Treb from him. The composition that Sal's had to be afraid of is now on the field for Slam. Siege Ram is going to be coming in, and Shukanu behind it with full upgrades. Devastating.
Exactly, and if you look at the right side, we're talking about 20 Paladins versus 14 Cavaliers, and the Cavaliers don't even have Blast Furnace, so, like, Winchester seems to be underperforming in this game a little bit.
It's just a questionable decision. Like, sure, your Cavalier might be more mobile to help your ally, but at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to win fights. They might be able to snipe a few Trebs or flank some Chukanu, but DauT is always going to be there with Paladin of his own. Like, you have to go Elephants in this situation. Elephants or a Rambai, I think.
Yeah, a Rambai would be great as well, but obviously that takes so much time to mass and he's not even working towards that. He's taking into light cap, but it's just like game number 1. No matter how good they fight, or how good the fights are that they are taking, as long as they have the unit composition that's unable to deal with DauT+Slam's one, they won't have a chance to win.
And Ballistics is on the way for Slam, so he will never miss a unit again.
Indeed. And now Paladins are in here for DauT as well. And I feel like soon Swords will be in a position to consider resign.
Dude, look at that army from Slam. Oh my god. You're not pushing that back. That's 60 Chukanu, fully upgraded. 4 Trebs behind, Siege Ram's constantly coming in, and then you have to worry about the Paladin from his ally.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, no matter how much Winchester is zigzagging with those Cavalier, it doesn't matter against this. And on the right side, DauT is also overrunning Vinch with Paladin. It is 86 army against 40.
Machine Gunners at the front here with the Rams in front. Good job from Slam to position them there. ClassicPro's trying to manually target down units from Slam, but he's getting shredded while he does it. And there's no military left on the field for ClassicPro. He's in panic mode right now.
And GG here. So what you said is absolutely true in terms of that this game looked just like game number 1. It's a massive civ disadvantage for Vinch and ClassicPro, but one of the things that I think is a big advantage for DauT+Slam is that they always have the teammates to consult with in Game of Legion, so they pretty much came very well prepared with civs and the drafting scene, most likely.
Yeah, and, you know, ClassicPro, I like the strategy to push the Chinese early, but I think you have to have some military on the field when you're going up to Imperial Age. You know, the whole win condition for him is to get into Slam's economy early or to put pressure on him early and prevent the Chukanu from massing up. Prevent the techs from coming in. Disrupt his economy. And when you get up to Imperial Age and you have no crossbows on the field to upgrade, even if you get through the walls, you're not going to be able to do anything with it. And then following that up, obviously, we already discussed enough about the Cavalier choice from Vinchester. Questionable choice, I think.
Yeah. One thing that's interesting evaluating, though, I saw that on the chat, maybe they felt like, okay, we don't expect to win Regicide Fortress versus Game of Legion, so we will just use the civs that we won't really be missing on other maps.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think I would agree with that. They probably came in here knowing that it was like 10 to 20% chance of victory, but I think they could have maybe executed a bit better. But saying that, GL executed very well on their side, so how are you going to blame Cells for losing to 2 players of this level in Slam and DauT?
Indeed. And now we're going to Coast the Mountain, which was the decider game between the two teams in the first set they played, and Salts won that. So I'm actually curious about your opinion on Coast the Mountain being added to map pool, because the last time this was seen in a tournament, or like a big tournament, was NAC 3. Or maybe even NAC 2, I don't even remember.
Coast the Mountain in NAC 3.
I think it was NAC 2 then, so...
Yeah, I don't think... It must have been NAC 2, and I think it was in Escape Champions League, maybe, but...
Yeah, it definitely was in ACL, but I remember one of the NACs having that. Alright, are you ready to start? I'm at 10 seconds.
11 seconds.
Alright, let's do a countdown.
At 1 or at go?
Alright, 3, 2, 1, and go.
You didn't answer at 1 or at go?
Yeah, go. I mean, like actual go.
Like go now?
Yeah,
or
go,
like
go.
Go. Okay.
Alright.
Just fucking with you.
Alright. So, Mongols for Classic Pro in yellow and Celts for Vinch in red. Lacking late game heavy cavalry unless you count the famous and very renowned Celtic Paladins. Versus Lithuanians for DauT in green and Persians for Slam in blue that are lacking late game archers.
I find it interesting how... Okay, yeah, DauT's sending one villager over early to make the dock. Obviously, with Lithuanians, you start with more food, which means you can send all your villagers to wood right away. You see him on the wood around his TC. He's going to be able to get the fishing economy rolling, and he's sending it right to the edge as well.
Indeed. And I feel like right now, DauT+Slam just picked the two best nomad start civilizations they had available. Lithuanians and Persians, both of them have amazing starts on nomad.
So who do you favor here? It's tough. I think I like Celts and Mongols for the early pressure opportunities, but I like Persians and Lithuanians the longer the game goes. And I think we've said this, you know, for the third game now with the GL civs. They just seem better into the Castle Age and then into Imperial. Obviously, if we get late Imperial, Mongols and Celts are devastating. But in a map as open as this, I'm not sure we're going to see that.
Yeah, indeed. It's interesting. I think if Mongols get to their full potential, just like Chinese, neither Lithuanians nor Persians have anything to stop that. But it takes so much time to get there. While we have
it's so open too. Yeah. It's like there's so many areas to hit the economy, right? It's going to be really tough to secure your eco.
While we have this peaceful moment in Dark Age, it actually is interesting to think about this, because if Salts loses this game, they're out of the tournament, and they were one game away from winning their group. So they won against DauT+Slam, and then it was an even score versus Yo and Lix on after 4 games, and they went to Regicide Fortress and they lost it. They actually lost it 1 versus 2 because they pretty much destroyed Lix, but then Yo came in 1v2 with Frankish Paladins.
Oh, I've never heard of that before. Someone destroying Lix and then Yo carrying the team to victory? Huh? What? I've never seen that before, man.
Yeah. It is quite a common sight with that team, but what is more important is that Vinchester Classic Pro were one game away from winning their group and playing the quarterfinals, and now they're one game away from not even making the quarterfinals at all.
Yeah, that's the difference, though, between the guys at the top and the guys aspiring to be there. It's consistency, right? You can win a few games every now and then, but you got to win sets on a consistent basis. And if, you know, they beat this GL team the first time around, and we'll see if they can come back and pull another victory out of the hat and make an argument for themselves.
It looks like we're going to have DauT getting his lumber camp out on the left side, and Slam will just be fully focused on the right side. This means that Slam will be fighting for water, and I would think DauT is going to go for some land aggression here with Lithuanians.
He almost has to, right? Like, the player who has their TC exposed should be the player that's theoretically going for that early aggression. Yeah, because the guy on the wood line can be relatively safe, can wall himself off, but the dude who's TC'd in the middle, their entire economy is going to be open. and they're gonna need some military to help out with that.
Yeah, I feel like the reason why you have to go for land is because there's so much hunt in the middle that if you don't contest it, the Mongol player will just keep spamming mills. I think either Yo and Lix or Tempo was the team that did this very frequently. Just go for scouts for a Mongols player to defend your hunt and just keep using that hunt for better castle age time.
Okay, so it looks like Classic Pro was the first one up to Feudal Age, and he's gonna go... Is there no water pressure right away? He's just going stable right away.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna be the land player, and Vinch will be playing water with Celts. Makes some sense, I would say. It's gonna be a 1v1 on water, but...
Celts are really good water civ in Feudal Age.
Yeah,
it's just they don't scale, right? But the wood bonus comes in clutch with them. It really, really good, especially for early pressure.
Yeah, it might be even better than civs like potential Persians, for example, because, yeah, you can produce faster with Persians, but if you can't afford it, it doesn't matter. So, Celts being able to afford the consistent production of fire galleys is important, and there is an early demo here from Vinch. I wonder if he wants a demo snipe on the fishing ship to open with.
There's potential, but maybe it's just a backup play, right? Slam's sending 2 fires right away, and if Vinch gets that demo in early and wipes up the numbers from it, and suddenly Slam's on the back foot for the next, like, minute, 2 minutes. And that looks like it could be, nice potential to be a good demo.
Yeah, that was a beautiful split there. Vinch is just so good with these flanking maneuvers on water. Like, that was the thing that helped him win water on the Team Islands game.
Slam settles for just damage on 1 fire ship, and I think Vinchester is just going to repair that. Looking at the wall situation, Classic Pro and Vinchester will be fully walled in a minute from now, and Slam and DauT are going to be super open on that middle area.
Yeah, indeed, but for now I think DauT has enough scouts to potentially prevent any major damage from being put. That's a nice demo over there from Slam, and he could get another one. And another?
He's going to take out 1 fire ship. Vinchester is going to get away with 2 of his own.
And 2 very weak fire galleys, so being able to keep those alive is extremely important for Vinch. Vinchester is actually slowly becoming one of the stronger water players with the unit control he has. And Slam also has to focus on losing villagers. Now, you did say that they're so open, and here come the scouts to pick off villagers.
Yeah, he did pick off 1 villager. Now he's going to loop around. Slam's TC position is pretty good, so it's not going to find any free picks. And DauT's going to be chasing him constantly, but this is a big annoyance. He might actually find that villager if he goes far enough south. DauT made a lumber camp with that dock villager. It's kind of cute, actually. 1 guy chopping away.
Oh yeah, indeed, it is a little too cute. But we also have the water slowly being won by Vinchester here, even though he's eating some big demos, but it's about idling the opponent's fishing eco that already starts helping.
So water battle has been fairly even so far until now, though. I think Vinchester is built up quite a force here, and Slam's going to have problems to keep up with the production. Especially since he lost that 1 villager. So he's going to be a little bit behind where Classic Pro is.
Indeed. Ecos are looking better for Gamer Legion as well, something to pay attention for. Although upgrades are not there for Slam, and now that they are going to start losing the fishing eco, swords could take over.
Looking at Classic Pro, he's still not expanding to the extra zebra. Like, he's not going out and milling that.
Yeah, it feels like he's not willing to take the risk. What's more interesting is that he has an easy to lure elephant close to his base. He could definitely grab that one, but he's now thinking about Castle Age. But this is where the real question is, what are you gonna do? Like, just continue Knights?
I think Knights could be a good option for a bit. It's just how long do you stay on Knights? There's also an opportunity. You could potentially see Cav Archers from the Mongol player as well. With all this open area to play with, it could do some damage.
Indeed, especially considering that it's basically a 1v1, and it looks like he's going to beat DauT to Castle Age, so it is very possible that early Cav Archers could do a lot of damage.
So on the water, Vinchester did kill the fish from Slam. Slam picked off a couple fishing ships from Vinchester, and he's sending in fires one by one. So I think he's kind of resigned to the fact that he's going to lose water control. Just wants to try and take out the fishing economy from Vinchester. And Vinchester now clearing up the fishing ships from DauT as well. So firm advantage on the food income and for the Sal's team.
Yeah, and that is going to matter in terms of Castle Age times. In fact, we already have our Mongol player going up Castle Age here. No archer range just yet. He's gonna have a foothold on the left side, and it might just end up being like a big boom on this hill into Mangadai.
There's 2 elephants there he could have taken. He didn't even need any of these farms. He could have taken those 2 elephants, all the zebra, everything there. It's crazy.
Yeah, I feel like he might consider the zebra a little too risky to move out when the opponent has scouts as well, but you're absolutely right about the elephants. It just takes 5 seconds to bring it into your TC.
Yeah. Especially with the scout pressure you had early, but maybe that's just dividing your attention too much, and he's realized that, and he wants to go the more stable route with the farms. He will be the first one up to the Castle Age. DauT is following behind there. And we see, yep, bloodlines and armor coming in for him. So knights or camels is going to be the play for Classic Pro.
Okay, now I'm gonna propose you a question here.
There's
because...
a hole. There's a hole.
Oh,
that's a hole.
That's a disaster.
God.
And those
And those
scouts...
scouts still have HP too.
Yeah, at least they don't have upgrades, so it's not like they're Bloodline Scouts, but they will be Bloodline Scouts soon. Luckily for Classic Pro, he can just send one camel to clean it up. He needs to kill the Spearman, and then he should be good to go.
Yeah, and he's making a couple camels now. Even that Spearman isn't going to do much against one camel. It's just one hit away from death, but this is an annoyance that he did not need. And it was really tough to see that hole behind the gate. It was covering up everything.
Yeah,
so
indeed.
Can't really blame the guy.
And he will still lose 2 or 3 villagers here.
Yep.
Definitely something that he could have avoided. He's gonna bring in a Spearman now, and I think he will lose at least 1 more here.
Oh my god. 3 villagers just for that one hole. It's amazing how many times holes come into play in tournament games. And they're the factor for a complete turnaround. I think Classic Pro and Vinchester were in a firm lead here. They had the water control. You can see the fish boom for Vinchester is actually going nuts. But
he's at 48
make
eco.
it happen going through that hole.
Yeah, I feel like the only reason why Classic Pro isn't that super sad about losing those wheels is because he has some fishing eco to compensate. But what I wanted to ask before the hole is that Vinchester has a lot of fire ships here and demos. Maybe it's even a bit of an overinvestment, given the fact that we're running short on fish in the pond soon.
I don't think so. I think that's just wood, right? And you got tons of wood here. You were planning on investing more into water anyway to continue the battle, so you had tons of villagers on wood. 75 per fishing ship. When you can translate them into fishing traps later, I think this is.
Oh, I think
it's a good play from him.
I mean the fire ship numbers. So obviously the fishing ships are nice, but I was more curious about the fire ship numbers because he's got a lot.
He had them already, right? He didn't really make. He made like maybe 2 or 3 more extra. I think he already had this amount of numbers before, did he not?
He did. It's a matter of maybe was it an overinvestment or not. I don't think it is, but it is debatable because I think it's comparable to like Hidden Cup Bay. If you go for too many fire ships, your opponent is going to be able to spend those resources on land instead.
Yeah. I don't know. It's something where we can always look at this number and say like, oh, maybe he overinvested. But then if he, especially against Persians whose docks stay up for forever and give Slam an opportunity to maybe come back in Castle Age, if he ends up losing the water and then he has all these fish, we say he didn't invest enough, right? So I'd rather overinvest and win than underinvest and lose.
Yeah, that makes sense, indeed. So we will have free TC boom from both Souls players, And Slam is just now going up to Castle Age. That's the big problem for them. So losing the fishing eco did hurt. DauT is picking up relics, but Lithuanians will always be capped at a maximum of 3 relics on this map, because you have 2 on your side and 1 in the middle. But stealing 2 from the opponent's side seems impossible.
Camels engaging against the Knights. That's a good engagement there for Classic Pro.
Well, those Knights have +2, so probably a good one still, but not necessarily as good as it could possibly be. There's an overchop for DauT, which will be found by Vinchester's random auto-scouting Bactrian camel.
Okay, the War Galley upgrade for Vinchester was a bit weird.
That's something I can agree with.
Yeah, I don't know why you get that, especially since he's not producing War Galley. I could see an argument for, like, putting a few War Galleys along the shoreline to deny all the resources and map position, but getting that upgrade seems strange to me.
Yeah, it feels very much awkward. It looks like Slam is just going to play the good old 4TC boom, as DauT is trying to run around with the Knights to do some damage. He is already on 2 relics. I think he's bringing in a 3rd one soon. So that's gonna be 3 relics for the Lithuanian player, but I think a slow and booming game actually helps the Mongols here to get to Mangodai.
I'd love to see them complete that wall too, so that he doesn't have to send villagers across that dead space to get to the northern base. I think GL's done a really good job of that, covering the entire extent of their base, and Classic Pro needs to bridge that gap up at the north.
Indeed. Overall ecos are way better for salts, mostly fueled by Vinchester's fishing eco that will soon have to transition to fish traps. But really, it's 76 villagers for Classic Pro. He's the one that has the biggest boom of all.
DauT's Knight numbers still pretty static here. He's continuing to produce, but not overproducing, just kind of holding on while he gets his eco up and rolling. And it's the same thing for the other team. We're kind of at a stalemate here. First castle coming down from Classic Pro on the north side. I like that position. Not too far forward. You're not risking your production buildings as Mongols, but it is still securing the north side of the map.
Yeah, especially with those outposts being dropped. He knows exactly if there's anyone trying to stop that, so he has time to react.
Man, Slam is booming his heart out here.
Yeah, 4 Persian TCs, and 4 TCs as well for DauT now, so let's not sleep on the fact that Gamer Legion is coming back in eco. A side note worth adding indeed is that the Lithuanian Knights here, that will have the 3 relics, they also have the Persian team bonus of +2 attack versus archers, including cav archers like Mangodai. So Classic Pro has to be very careful not to take fights where the Knights are able to hit his Mangodai.
Yeah, and if, like, Vinchester's got to be thinking, I should tech into Helbs right away as soon as I hit it, because I'm gonna need to give my ally time.
Yeah,
Halb Mangodai is a pretty good composition, but obviously Mangodai, you need to get all the upgrades first. And I'm not sure if I agree with Classic Pro coming out with the camels here, because if he loses this army for free, suddenly DauT can start thinking about some, you know, early Imperial pressure or some Castle Age pressure with his Knights. I think the key for Classic Pro is to keep these in defense and build towards its ideal composition. I don't see many openings for just camels in DauT's economy.
I like this move though from Classic Pro. Look, he's dragging away DauT to the left side, which is a bit dangerous, as you said, because he doesn't want to lose that army, but it allows him to get the second castle up here.
And he's going to pull him right back there. The second castle will go up safely, and he's going to start Mangodai production.
And the Imperial Age
that's
as
a lot
well.
of Knights. That's a lot of Knights for DauT.
Yeah, it is. And there's a couple of monks as well for DauT. He could get 2 camel conversions very easily. And here goes, I think it was 2 conversions indeed.
2. Yep, he got 2. He's a master of converting Classic Pro's units. We've seen it before in this set, especially that islands. And he's going to take a good engagement here, and suddenly, you know, the Knights are running around, kind of pressuring the Mangodai, pressuring that castle area, and pressuring the barracks coming up from Vinchester now.
a third castle on the way for Classic Pro, but as you said, there isn't really a lot of Mangadai right now. The Mangadai have questionable upgrades, not even Botkin Arrow just yet. I feel like Celtic Hub and Siege could still be something that Slam has trouble against.
Imagine if Classic Pro had those camels in the original numbers behind here. Suddenly the Knights kind of get pushed off, right? I would be surprised if DauT just took a straight up fight there. And he's not forced to quick wall behind all this stuff, although he has walled in the Knights.
Oh, indeed. That is a big trap here, although there is a weak polycide that they could break through, but indeed, it's a trap. Classic Pro will just trap those Knights, and that's a big loss for DauT, because that's like 1/3 of his army.
Hard to repair against Lithuanian Knights, though, with +5. Yeah, you can't hammer that house fast enough.
Oh, man.
They're in.
And once again, this, like, Lithuanian Knights would just kill villagers so fast, and
he,
also...
Dude, he can kill the castle on the left-hand side, too.
Exactly.
While he's distracting DauT's units.
And
then the +5 is insane. Like, just keep sending castle or Knights in there. You'll get that castle.
yeah, and you have no chance of repairing that. Classic Pro is losing vills really fast here. He lost 16 vills already in this game.
That castle is almost dead. Look.
Oh, look at Vinch though.
Repairing for him and now sending some pikes over. So I think now with the repair villagers, DauT will have to back up. But he's distracting a lot of the army, and maybe he can think about going south now. Oh, nice, he is going south. Perfect.
Indeed, he is. But that's a lot of pikemen from Vinchester. Like, he's not flooding pikemen now. Halberdiers also taking into champs.
Think about this, though. While DauT has been doing this, distracting 2 team members, Slam has been calmly booming behind, has the stables up, and now he's getting archer ranges on the field. So he might be going for Commander End to get the free crossbows. The crossbows will shred the halbs. The mobility of the Knights from both players might be able to flank the Mangadai or do some eco damage.
This is tricky because Commander and crossbows are nice, but Hub and Siege Ram will still make it very, very hard for Slam to deal with this, especially because the crossbows will have lack of mobility.
If DauT gets in on the south, though, I feel like DauT just needs to find a hole or bust his way through. Maybe Vinchester won't notice in time or be able to repair in time.
He needs a stone wall behind.
Yeah,
oh,
that's not enough. This is a disaster.
Wait,
that's a game-changing moment. Oh, it's
no,
not open.
That's not open. Indeed, it's a diagonal house. Now it's gonna be open soon, but Vinchester is gonna have time to send Cavalier in here, and it looks like Cavalier will be coming in for Slam as well, so it's double cavalry play for now.
I like that. If you can get the trade set up, you should be fine in terms of gold income.
And, well, DauT is still not through, and those Halberdiers will still shred the cavalry, even though they do have +5. And here comes Siege Ram for Swords. Paladin for both players.
If you get the trade set up, man, if you have enough gold, you can afford to do it. And Paladin is the best unit both players can make here, the strongest one they can get on the field. And I was wrong, Slam is not going for Commander End, he's going for hand cannons.
Yeah, I mean,
hand cannon Paladin is pretty freaking strong.
It's probably the best unit composition in the game. I love how DauT is dropping that trap on the hill, so he's gonna have a hill advantage against the opponent's castle. Obviously, the Mangadai will need to dive in and snipe those traps, and they do so very nicely.
Mangadai numbers getting up there for Classic Pro. He needs to build more, though. He needs about 50 of those suckers.
Yeah. We are gonna have a siege workshops in the middle, though, and Vinch could start pressuring the base of Slam, and if you just start flooding Halberdier, like, look at Vinch, he's got a barracks on the right side already, and he could easily push Slam's base because Slam has no production back at home.
When Slam and DauT both get Paladin, I think they just dive the Mangadai. Both players just dive in on that. Slam goes from behind, DauT goes from the front. Both players Paladin, even though there's halbs there, it won't be enough to clear everything. Assuming they keep their army numbers alive long enough, but DauT is actually losing population.
Yeah, he's losing population. It's +7 Cavalier now. And more importantly, Classic Pro could be losing one of his castles
Paladin
here.
And Classic Pro is diving in. This is a terrible decision from Classic Pro. That is awful. That might have just lost you the game.
This was so hard decision. If he doesn't dive in, he loses the castle. If he
Who cares
dives
about
in,
the castle doesn't matter. The Mangadai matter. Classic Pro.
he keeps the castle alive. I totally agree that it would have been better if he just lets that castle die, but maybe he's gonna live to see another day. His Mangudai numbers are disturbingly low, but now DauT+Slam will have to focus on the ram push that is coming in the middle.
And Classic Pro is moving his Mangudai around to the other side, to the forward siege workshops from Vinchester.
And look at this hub and siege push on the north coming in. The numbers aren't really there for Vinchester with the halberdiers, though, especially against +7 paladins.
Yeah. Vinchester needs production buildings closer than that. He's streaming them from the top of Classic Pro's base, but he needs villagers over here. Maybe make some barracks over to keep the numbers up. In small numbers, DauT is always going to win those fights. Okay, here's another batch. So Vinchester should be able to clear up the paladins over there. Meanwhile, Classic Pro just kind of distracting the paladins from Slam. He can't win any fights now with this number of Mangudai.
Yeah, DauT is losing a lot of paladins, and he doesn't have trade just yet. They still have a lot of mineable gold on the left side, but that's a lot of paladin going down here for DauT, and he has to be careful not to lose a lot of numbers.
GL still doesn't have the trade set up. It is a bit awkward. Slam does have the markets, but DauT hasn't gotten it figured out on his end. Paladin production is still consistent. Hand cannons now coming to support this stuff at the top, and the Paladin from Slam are kind of surrounding the Mangudai again.
And that's a lot of damage output on those paladins over there. And one castle went down from Classic Pro also hurts heavily. Vinchester seems to be focusing a little bit more to the south, but they're slowly getting pushed back on the north.
The problem here, the Mangudai numbers just aren't there. Like, he's constantly losing them. He should have 40 or 50 by now, and instead he's only got like 23.
Yeah, the numbers aren't really great. It's actually 30 now, so...
Okay, where are the other ones hiding? Oh, they're hiding up at the north, okay.
Yeah, it's getting better and better, but now it's Elite Skirm from DauT, and they don't really have a good answer to Elite Skirm right now.
Pro trapped himself in here. Oh, God.
Oh, the sandwich. Do you like some tomatoes with that sandwich, Dave?
Oh, that's terrible.
That's a disaster. He still has 29 Mangudai, but he can't group them up, and that's exactly what is missing.
If he hadn't gone forward to and he loses another castle that he had put at the north. He had placed another castle there. That's another production building for Mangudai. He lost it to the Trebs from DauT. Maybe getting a little bit greedy with that position, trying to secure that gold a little bit too far forward.
Yeah,
you know, if he had kept those original Mangudai alive, I think DauT's 2 castles would already be dead by now, and they'd be pushing into the north. Instead, it's a turnaround. And he's desperately trying to mask them at all times.
Yeah, this is looking grim for them on the north, although on the south, Vinchester is now pushing into the base of Slam, and if Slam starts running out of juice and he's now only going Hussar, suddenly things could get really rough for GL.
Yeah, DauT finally dropping a market at the top. I think Slam might have been asking for that for a while. Slam is also raiding the economy from Classic Pro, though. Classic Pro doesn't notice this.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything to clean this one up, and that could be a lot of dead villagers. And I think the big deal is now that there is going to be tower shield skirmishers here, and... well, Souls doesn't have an answer to those just yet.
Yeah, hand cannons guarding the Trebs from the Halbs. But the Mangudai numbers are getting up there now. Still, another castle went down there. Was that a castle from Classic Pro?
Oh, no, I think that was a workshop that was deleted.
Okay, I caught it right as it was dying. Couldn't tell.
We got some light cap from Slam. Slam is doing an excellent job raiding the base of Vinch, and that is going to cause a lot of annoyance for Swords. But they still have some trade, and there is no trade at all for GL.
Well, Slam made a couple trade cards at the top,
Oh,
but
DauT
you're
Castle.
right, it's not much.
What would be a GL series well to DauT Castle? Here is ours.
Yeah, that's a bit questionable there. Maybe he thought he might be able to get away with it, but look at the army numbers now from GL, and where's the military from Vinch?
Yeah, he is just nowhere. He's scrambling to clean this one up, and really, Slam's raids are doing extremely good damage
They're doing
here.
so much work, dude. How many villagers has he killed? He killed all the farming eco from Classic Pro, and then he went down here and wiped up like half the wood eco from Vinchester in the south.
Yeah, indeed. They did an awful lot of damage. Still, I think the numbers might be a bit misleading, because it is a huge amount of Hussar. That could
What?
be... No!
Classic throw!
That could be the game here. Running into Paladins. What is he doing, man?
I think he pathed wrong. I think he sent it down to try and help out Vinchester at the south. And he didn't realize all this stuff was here. He hadn't scouted that before.
Oh, that's a disaster. He's down to 21 Mangadai, and look at the base of Vinchester here. It is 110 militia against 75, but they don't have anything to protect their eco with now. Oh, that is just looking really bad. And it's only 2 castles for ClassicPro, so he's got a serious problem producing those units consistently.
Oh man, I can totally, like, if you're in Classic Pro's position, I can totally see how that happens, you know? You send it down there, Vinchester's like, I need help in the south, so you just click down there, and you haven't seen anything on the minimap, and you divide your attention maybe to the raids from Slam, so you're not looking at your military. Suddenly you hit your hotkey, and you only have 20 Megadite left.
Yeah.
Instead of the 40 that you were trying to send down there. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's not his
position.
fault. It's not his fault. He's getting just so distracted by all the raids of Slam, and I have to say that Slam is playing extremely good today.
Oh yeah, yep. He's on another level here.
And so far, like, the games that GLB lost in this tournament were mostly, like, Slam was sometimes a little bit underperforming compared to what he's capable of. Oh.
Again, Classic Pro going in for the Trebs. I think this is a, you know, this is a pattern. He just wants to get those Trebs so bad, but he's losing his Mega Knight numbers, and the numbers are the win condition.
Yeah, this is so hard for him, because if he doesn't kill those traps, he's gonna lose all his production.
Yep.
So this is like, you have to take the necessary evil here.
Yeah.
And there is
Really
Commander
bad,
on.
and you know, a lot of this is happening because Vinch just doesn't have military numbers on the field. And why doesn't he have military numbers on the field? Because Slam has been constantly raiding his economy this entire time.
And now GL is setting up trade, I believe. Indeed, Slam has 18 trade cards. I would dare to say that Slam in this game might have even outperformed DauT. He's had an insanely good game.
Oh yeah, Slam. Well, I mean, to be fair, he did have a lot of time to build his eco, right? So when
Obviously.
Vinchester pushed him, there was that whole period in Castle Age where Slam wasn't doing any military, so he could afford to lose the farming economy he did, and he could afford to push Vinchester back.
Yeah, and as things stand, I feel like the big thing for Slam is that he's constantly raiding the opponent, and he's able to hold out back at home as well with siege rams, hand cannons. And the combination of that means that DauT can just 1v1 versus Classic Pro with skirms.
This is going to be really rough here for Sal's. If they want to drag themselves back into this game, into this series, into this tournament here, Lita, they're going to have to take some excellent fights. And I just don't, I'm looking at the map, but I just don't know where they can do it.
And this is indeed what distinguishes top teams from the teams that are aspiring to be top, because Swords was one game away from winning against WWP and winning their group, and now they seem to be out of the tournament if this tendency continues.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. Consistency is key at the top level. We've got onagers here from Vinchester now backing up the Manga Dive from Classic Pro. I don't think that's... Yeah, that might be another DauT Castle, actually. It might be.
Oh yeah, but it's going to lose. Honestly, I feel like DauT is happy trading off villagers to Manga Dive here.
For Manga Dive, yep. And Classic Pro once again diving in.
All the onagers, though.
It's just been a rough game for him and for his Manga Dive. It's been really, really challenging.
I love how Slam is adding Bombard Cannon as well to snap down the onagers. Like, really, Slam is everywhere. He's raiding, he's defending his own base with hand cannon and rams. He's adding Bombard Cannons to help out DauT. Slam has been...
He can kind of afford to be everywhere, though, with the excellent pressure that DauT has kept up in that north side.
Absolutely. This is S-tier teamwork from DauT and Slam. And really, their team chemistry is showing really well here on how they coordinate their units.
Yeah, Sal's is hanging in here. It's going to be a rough spot, though. I mean, he's only... Classic Pro's only going to have, what, one castle left over if this one goes down? And it's not like he teched into anything else. He was fully teched into Megadai. He's also not going to have any real wood access soon.
Yeah, this is looking extremely grim, especially with the second to last castle going down here for Classic Pro. And in the decider game in the previous set of these two teams, Swords won Coast to Mountain. It appears that DauT+Slam came back with a plan, and there's the
Yep.
GG.
Yep. What a great series. What a great game here, actually. Like, we know where Classic Pro went wrong there, losing the numbers of Mangadai, but he did a really good job to even get to that point where he was pushing DauT at the top there. Like, really, really good execution from him. And it's just the difficulty of the pathing up in this area and the difficulty of having so many things going on at the same time. He just couldn't quite keep his army together long enough to push back DauT+Slam.
Absolutely, and really GL's team chemistry worked really well, and the ability to snipe castles, because that's the most important. I don't think that DauT lost a single castle this game, whereas Classic Pro lost like 4.
Yep, and Classic Pro, you could make the argument that he had the superior unit composition too. Like, he had helps from his ally, and he had elite Mangadai mass behind it. Just maybe some misjudgments with some of the fights, and suddenly you don't have the elite Mangadai mass, and all you have are helps, and they're gonna get shredded by skirms and hand cannons. So
Indeed, and it's also about losing those Mangadai so many occasions when he lost like 6, 7, 8. That could have added up to like a blob of 60, 70, or maybe not 70, but something like 50, 60 Mangadai could have been on the field if he doesn't lose this many on numerous occasions.
yeah, and then you use the resources to tech into maybe siege or to tech into some hussars of your own to go harass the enemy economy. But instead, he was forced to just continuously use gold and wood to produce Mangadai that he could have theoretically already had. But I mean, excellent performance from GL here. They took 2 civs that we said in late Imperial may struggle, and they just steamrolled.
They did. And really, I think that this time, Salt had the Civ advantage, but they weren't able to capitalize because DauT+Slam just executed things a lot better. And with that, GL goes into the quarterfinals, and they will match up against MBL and Nikov.
Oh, that's gonna be like, I like Slam and DauT, but that's a tough matchup, man. MBL and Nikov, maybe not the same team chemistry as DauT+Slam, but definitely the execution on their end is top notch.